Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's session of Emoris. Before we begin tonight, I'm going to breeze through announcements, which are, follow us on the socials and watch Rhyme and Fandalva, because they're fun shows. Um, I'm not going to say anything about Rhyme. I'm not. I thought about it, but I'm not going to. Um, I'm also going to announce, because I can today, although we've been completely dark on it, this year's Swindler's Den Halloween one-shot will be going up on the weekend of Halloween, either on that Saturday or Sunday, featuring a brand new cast of characters that have not been introduced on the channel at all, and DM'd by me. So if you want to watch that, you should watch that. It's going to be fun and kind of scary as well, and I'm really happy to see how that goes. And that's it. That's all we got for announcements tonight. So, is everyone ready to jump into tonight's game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
So previously on Emoris, the Silver Goats had trekked back to Rakrovi following the climactic events of the Cakery finale, I'll say. Being chased out of there by Kaifin and her ice elementals, retreating to the Feywild and then going back to Rakrovi. You met back up with a few familiar, friendly faces. Asmin, Shani, Madeline, as they talk to you a little bit about the coming preparations for their anticipation of the Scorched King and his arrival. In doing so, you got Colborn to come down here, and he started planning out the actual battle strategy that you guys were going to do, which was, open to suggestion from you guys, since you guys were the main people it regarded. But essentially was that you guys were going to sit in a bubble of your friends and best fighters on the outside and charge straight through to the Scorched King, while Shani sat back with the orb, waiting for your signal to destroy it. And basically see how it goes. And so you formulated a plan around the terrain of that particular area of Casco, outside of Rakrovi, trying to minimize any damage to the city itself and evacuate the people beforehand, and do all that happy fun stuff. And in the meantime, Colborn and Madeline sent you off on your way and told you to gather your allies for the coming fight. And you started to do that, having everyone teleport over to Urnroot, where Thyra and Delphine split off from the group to go meet up with Karan, which you found, along with his new partner and their 3 unhatched eggs. While Alakian, Hope Wade, and Isabel met up with Via, Bertie, and Kev, and were all teleported down into Keijo, into the Hag's Tree, which is now no longer the Hag's Tree, it is Rokonoka's Tree. And that is pretty much where we left off. So, who are we going to start with, you guys? Let's start with Thyra. Let's start with Thyra and Delphine.
Okay.
So, Thyra and Delphine, the two of you, the one of you, look back over into the middle of the city and you see a small flash of light from the center-ish area nearby the Bronze Square, that you recognize to be a teleportation circle spell going off. And you are left standing there, just the two of you and Karan and his partner, sort of hauling these eggs along. What would you two like to do?
We're gonna go to the tribe, right?
Right, so Delphine has a circle for that, correct?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, okay, so you can just carve it
yeah.
out wherever you want to.
Yeah, probably like as soon as what is it, like 10 feet? As soon as she finds like a space that's like wide enough to draw out the circle without having to go too far.
Sure.
Would be ideal.
Yeah, totally. You find a small alcove on the side of the mountain, easy enough to find. It's a big mountain. You have your own like stagger platforms that you're standing on right now, and Delphine draws the circle, and everyone steps in with some hesitancy from the owlbears, but they are following your lead, and there is trust there. and within but an instant, Thyra is back within familiar grounds. Unfamiliar for Delphine, but comfortable in the knowledge that, you are allies. Um, and you reappear into the side chamber of the mansion inside the tree of the Math and Bairn tribe. Is there anything that you want to do in here or in the house before you
Yes.
leave out into the whatever? Yeah, go for it.
So Thyra's going to talk to Koran for a couple of minutes while Delphine ritually casts Floating Disc.
Okie dokes. Yeah, good thought. Nice.
So probably, how long has it been since I cast my first Speak with Animals?
At this point, like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, so I would have to cast it again, which I will. I'll cast it again.
Sure.
So I missed your mate's name.
Her name is Pinada.
All right, well, Panada, it's nice to meet you. I'm not completely familiar with nesting, uh, the nesting of owlbears. What kind of environment do you need? Does it need to be warm? Does it need to be cold? Do you need someone to actually sit on them? Like a chicken?
Warm, yes. We prefer forests to other environments. We are mobile right now, so somewhere cozy and sheltered. Easy to find food.
Well, we've got food aplenty here for you and the hatchlings when they hatch. Yeah, we can get them up on my friend Delphine's disc, and we can get you to their room.
Sort of like looks back to the disc, which is slowly forming in the air. And you guys start hauling the eggs on top of it, and it sticks. That is what the disc is pretty much intended for. Yeah, so it's perfect use of the spell.
So when we walk out of the chamber, Thyra kind of looks up, like into the central area, because the all of the rooms and stuff are kind of like on the outside, and you can look straight up.
Yeah.
And since she was last here, there's an extra level up.
Okay.
She kind of smiles a little bit. All right, well, we'll be going to the 3rd floor. I've got just the spot for them.
He just kind of gives like a and starts trudging after you, following up. As you start ascending the floors, the mansion is familiar to you in every way, except for that new floor, which
I made,
newly
so
designed.
it is. I made, so it is familiar to me.
And as you hit like the 2nd floor, you start to see a faint bit of movement and a small head pop over the banister and the railing. As a young half-orcish girl sticks her head over the top of it and sort of looks down to you and says,
Thyra, why are you with some bears?
Aren't we all bears at heart here, love?
Yeah, but those are new.
You want to meet them? I'm assuming this is as old.
This is his old, yeah.
They're gonna be staying in your room.
She's gonna insight check that. Okay, so her insight is not good. Are you lying to her, or are you telling the
No,
truth?
I'm telling her the truth.
Okay.
Well, the eggs are staying in her room. Because bears.
Sure, she sort of like straightens over the banister a little bit more, and you can see her start to relax at the fact that you're there. I don't know if that's a very good idea to put them in my room. I'm not a very good protector yet.
Well, better time as any.
Okay, as long as you're not gonna eat me.
Well, actually, you're gonna be the one protecting their little ones.
Hey,
while they protect someone for me. Think you can handle that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out. That's all. I'll try. Last time I had a fish, it didn't really go so well.
That wasn't really your fault, was it now?
No.
You did a great job with Pouch Pouch. You'll do just as well with these eggs.
Okay. Um, come on in then. She sort of the head dips back behind the banister, and you know exactly where she's going. You hear the door just creak open. And the door itself, as you head over there, is fit for a person. You see Karan sort of like lumber up to it, and he's not really going to be able to fit inside this doorway.
I can fix that. I changed the layout of the door. It might take a minute.
You concentrate really hard, and the door begins to shift its walls outwards. And he just starts lumbering in. You see Isolde, as you guys go in, is like sitting behind the bed, sort of like using it mostly for cover. She's familiar with what these creatures are and knows the dangers of them. But is also kind of like haphazardly setting up some small area in the side for them to nest a couple of eggs. You see she's kind of like set up a bunch of twigs that she's caught from outside that have just been lying around the house, and bigger leaves, and also like pillows and stuff that she's just
If you
thrown
need
on.
more, you can take them out of my room.
Okay. Nice to meet them, I guess.
What was the mate's name?
The female's name was Pinada. Like pinata, but without the squiggly bit over the N and a D instead of a T.
I thought this is Pinada and Karan. Karan I met very early in my travels. Remember those earrings I gave you?
Yeah.
They're his feathers, actually.
Oh. Thank you for those. And he's sort of like staring back at her and tilts his head. There's no communication between the two of them, but, you know.
This is my little sister.
I don't have siblings.
Did you eat them?
No, something else did.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
That is nature. This will do fine.
And he starts lumbering and dragging the disc over himself to the to the area where the nesting section is.
Yeah, I'll let them set up the eggs like how they feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And they do so, propping them up pretty nice. And at one point they sort of request for the temperature inside to be turned a little hotter, and you do so, and it's easy enough to do.
Mm-hmm.
This all kind of speaks up. So, what? How's it? How's your mission going?
Almost coming to an end, dear.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Hopefully I'll be home permanently soon.
Okay, that's good. Odd is around if you want to go see her. Breeder too, but Breeder's a little cranky.
I wouldn't expect anything less than a cranky breeder.
Yeah.
She won't be so cranky in a little while. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, if you need me to do anything, I'm around. I'll be here.
I need you to take really good care of these eggs, like you took care of Pouch Pouch while I was gone. I expect names for all of them. Good ones.
I can think of a few.
Alright. I'm gonna give her a hug. I have some business to attend to. Hopefully I'll see you before I leave, but if not, I love you and stay safe, love.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome. I told you I'd make up for the fish.
Yeah, you did.
And then I will assure Delphine, Karan, and Pinata out.
Sure. Great. So, yeah, all of you head out, apart from, the ones left in the room, including the eggs, and you now have free reign over the tribe. Anything that you want to do specifically outside in the tribe while you're here? We'll run
No,
through the list.
I think Thera just wants to get down to business. She
Sure,
wants to
sure.
defeat the Huns.
So, we'll say, heading out, you see the tribe is now getting back to its mainstay of construction here. They are really focused on um, getting back to the way that things were, and for the most part, they're doing a very good job. Um, People are starting to move around and be a little happier, and there's almost an air of freshness in the community now that everything is new again. And people are like in that mentality of, oh, this is new. I want to maintain it. I want to keep good track of everything, including my house and all the things that I lost that are now being replaced. Um, and there is a general air of happiness here, which is different from the last time that you were in the tribe. Um, you, however, don't stick around to admire the sights too much because you are heading straight to the matriarch tent. Um, and you arrive there in little time, owlbear in tow. And as you walk inside, you see the very familiar, never really that comfortable visage of Otter kind of slumped back in the chair, looking really bored, and the elders behind her. And as she sees you come in, she sort of stands up and goes to walk up to you, and then sees the owlbear coming in behind her, and she's like, "That's new. Where did you get that?"
I made a friend a while ago. It doesn't really belong to me. But we're working together.
It kind of suits you a little bit to have a big owlbear behind you.
Right? Isn't it really cool?
Is he friendly? Can I pet him?
I mean, he's friendly.
She sort of kneels down in front of him, and they sort of meet eye level, and she begins sort of impersonating herself onto him. And there is a moment of like recognition, and you can see the resemblance, and then she begins to hold out her hand, and he's sort of like very stoic and stiff, and she begins to start trying to pet him, and he allows it, but he doesn't show much emotion back. As Kiva comes and walks up to you and says, "So, nice for you to be back. I am going to assume it's not for too long.
No, ma'am.
What can we do to help?"
Well, did you assemble the people I asked you to? Those who are willing to fight?
We started making efforts to do so, yes. It'll take about a day or so to get them all ready and have weapons prepared, but we're getting there.
What do you have so far?
So far, about 40 hunters, traders, and gatherers have all signed up. We're still waiting on the fisher people and the tailors. Obviously, Otta here will help, as will all of the elders, and we've spoken to Breda. He's very eager to leave as soon as possible, so I might recommend talking to that one before we get too far.
What about Cormac? Is he coming or is he staying?
He's been a little distant recently. I've sent word out to him, and I should hear back by the end of the day.
Where's he been?
He spends a lot of time outside the walls. Him and his brothers of the Lost.
Alright, well, it's their right to do so. How far out?
Not too far. I think about an hour, but the point is that he doesn't want to be followed, so he tries to stay hidden as best he can. I'm sure you could find him if you tried.
Okay. Shouldn't be
If you
that
don't
hard.
want to, He'll be here by the end of the night. He always returns.
He's only out during the day, but he comes back at night?
Well, he's got to sleep somewhere.
Very true. Alright, well, if you see him, you can let him know I'm looking for him, since I'll actually be here for a while, and not just 20 minutes. Is there anything else that we need to do before we head out? Anything that we can help with?
So far, not that I could think of. Might do some good to address the people and let them know what's happening. That this will be the end of your quest. But apart from that, I think we're
Right,
all
well,
set.
let's get that set up for tonight then. We can have
Of course.
a gathering.
All right, I'll put out the word. In the meantime, eat, have fun, spend time with your sisters.
I will. Oda, are you done being bored, or would you like to desecrate my throne a little bit more?
Ah, well, I'm always up for some desecrating of your throne. Whatever you want to do.
Well, let's go find that little brat sister of ours.
Ah, yes. I'll be back. And then Kiva's like, I know, go. And she jumps up and starts walking out with you.
I'll give Kiva a quick side hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she reciprocates the kind of frailer, older, half-orc wrist, comes over and pats you on the side of the shoulder and sort of squeezes you in a little bit tighter. Let's go.
And yeah, I'll use another spell slot to kind of, as we're walking through the tribe, to kind of give Koran a tour of the tribe.
Sure.
All of the different, like, kind of hidey places.
Yeah, awesome. He is interested for about the first 5 minutes. And then you see that his mind starts to sort of wander over the different things. There is a moment where you both catch a very strong whiff of cooking meat, and he just starts to go, like, without you. And you kind of have to chase after him and tell him not to go too far without you being there. But you give him the tour, and he retains the information that he can retain, you know. And yeah, you set off with Otter, and that is where we will leave Thyra for the moment. We'll get back to you. So the other, I guess 4 of you plus 4, so 8.
Jesus Christ! I just realized how. Yeah.
Yeah, crammed into the inside of this tree. As Rokanoka grins at you and then puts his hand up and moves it, and you feel the tree lurch forwards. What do you guys want to do?
Whoa!
I don't like that, as this is not
See,
great.
you got it working.
Yes, I did. The trick was not necessarily in the tree, more so the connection between tree and... I don't like the term tuner, but...
Why don't you like that term?
Fair enough.
He sort of puts his hand up to the wall.
Because it is not an item, more of a half-sentient being. It's a strange line.
Makes sense.
So, I assume you would like to go to Keijo, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, wait, hold on. Is that what we're doing? I mean, I want to go to Keijo, but...
I assume the best person to ask about, I don't know, legends of old mystery weapons would be Roval.
Oh, that's true. Does have a lot of good...
We wanted to
stories.
get Kev back to his parents so he could see them before he goes into battle.
Are we properly protected so, like, you know, people won't be able to see us now, right?
And as long as we don't use them, it won't actively draw them, yes.
Okay.
I think.
Where's Vi?
Was Via?
Yeah.
I'm right here, sweetie.
Didn't see you
Do you
there.
feel this puff of smoke come over your shoulder?
Yeah, it's cramped in here. I'm not used to having so many people.
Wait, you stay here?
Sometimes, yeah. Oh, it's not like that. No. Get your mind out of the gutter, Wade.
Right. There's a certain YouTube video that's playing in my mind right now.
I don't know it.
Is it a pizza party?
Oh.
Because that's suddenly what's in my brain.
Has to do with the turtle.
Yeah.
As I'm sure Isobel
Oh.
will tell you, all I needs to do to sleep is to go into this shell. So it's fine.
It's true. I saw her get mugged once, and she just kind of went sloop, and they kind of beat on her for hours. She kind of woke up later, and she was fine.
That's awful.
It was a tough nap, but it worked.
Eh?
All right, going home.
You guys just go through the fucking swamp. Yeah. It's a strange sensation. Wade, you've been in the tree while it's moving before. Only you, and you know that it moves at pretty impressive speeds.
Mm-hmm.
But with the hag, the tree was kind of disjointed, and it would lurch forward and then stop, or quickly turn in 90-degree angles. Rokonoka's style of piloting seems to be more curved and smooth. He cares more about the ride itself. It's nicer. It's much nicer to be a part of. And you guys travel for about 30 or so minutes before the tree starts to slow and come to a halt.
So, we will need to go on foot for the rest of the way. It is difficult to get it out of the water, but we can do it. If you would like for me to come with you, I will. Otherwise, I will stay and pack my things.
Do you have a lot of things you gotta pack?
No, it's mostly all in here, but there are some things that I would like to leave and some things I would like to take.
Okay. Do you just want to catch up with us then, or?
Sure. I will need my sage.
He points over to Via.
Yeah, sorry, kids. I'm gonna stay here for this one. But you'll know where to find me.
We can message if anything goes awry.
This is very true. Or just say my name a bunch and I will see it.
Is that really
Okay.
true? Can you see that?
She sort of turns to you and the grin comes really wide.
Yes, it is.
I don't believe you. I don't. Is there a reason I didn't think you could see the future for 20 years because of this shit?
I can see the future.
I believe that now. You didn't believe it for a long time because you lie as easy as you tell the truth.
Well, anyways, why don't you guys have fun? And, if you need my teleportation abilities, let me know.
Will do. See you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, there. It's always good to see you.
Of course, Isobel. Goodbye, Birdie. Bye, Kevin.
And they both are like, hey, bye, Via. They also step off. And then Birdie kind of like steps off and says, I don't know where I'm supposed to be with her or with... I'll come with you, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're
And he
gonna
watches
live.
So we're just back in Keijo?
You guys aren't quite back in Keijo. You're going to have to walk the rest of the way.
Sure.
But it won't take too long. And you watch the tree sort of sets back a little bit and then sort of sinks down into the water a little bit and then stays there. They're accessible, but they are off finishing up what they have so they can go with you guys.
Sure thing.
Makes
So if you
sense.
want to go back to them, you can do so.
For the sake of your throat, we will not.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
He's gotten used to smoking 3 packs a day. He's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm actually 24.
So yeah, you guys step off onto the bank here, and sort of have to like step over some of the larger roots that come through and penetrate into the water. Wade and Kev, instantly you get a sense of where you are. You've been through here countless times, and you know the direction back to Keijo, and you guys start walking. And yeah, there's nothing really has changed too much here along the walk. There is a sense now that the animal life that is here, the wildlife, is perhaps a smidge more bountiful, and perhaps a smidge more wild and free. If you recall, the hag's network of communication was through threats and blackmail and fear with these animals and the ones surrounding the region. And now that fear is gone. So there is, even to you guys who aren't druids, there is kind of a visible lifted air in the atmosphere here, which is nice. But it's nothing that is too distracting, and you guys can walk back. And coming through, you begin to see the faint like stilts in the woodwork around, like sort of permeating through the trees of the familiar town to Wade. And you guys start coming into the vicinity of Keijo. As you do so, what do you guys want to do?
Do we have a cemetery like on the way in or anything? Like how do we bury our dead in Keijo?
There is a small cemetery, not from the direction that you came. It's almost like a slight graveyard. It has maybe like 20 or so different graves in it that are loose, and
they're probably
the yard itself.
They're probably more crypts and like above ground. What are those? What's the word?
Yeah, I know what you
like
mean.
New
Big
Orleans
stone
style
things.
cemeteries. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I would think.
Since the ground is loose here, the digging is not great, and because of the nature of the place that you live, a lot of the time when people die, their bodies aren't quite recoverable. So there's a lot of headstones or just memorials and no actual spaces for bodies here. But there is a small one there, and you can go to it if you want to.
You mind if we just take a quick detour and just pay some respects real quick? I'm gonna
I don't mind.
take Kev
Sure,
by the shoulders and then just start walking over there. See if we can't find Trini. It was Trini, right?
Yeah. So you head over there, and it takes a little bit of time, but you get there within 20 or so minutes. And you find what is pretty much the exact same site as you last left it before the attacks. Except now, on the backside, there is kind of one larger sort of stone and woodwork monument that has inscribed into it the names of about 20 or 30 so people, one of which is Trini, another underneath of it is Heath, as well as Beth, and the names of all the people who were killed in the last Skid Hunting Festival and the last attack from the Great Ghost Gator. Yeah. It's the graveyard itself hasn't changed much, but that is a new addition, and it has fresh flowers in front of it. It means that people have been going back here recently.
Yeah, I just want to see if I can't find some like flowers real quick, like whatever. Like it can be shitty, like, you know, dandelions or whatever I can find.
Yeah, make a either perception or nature check for me.
Sure.
I would say investigation, but I know you ain't gonna use that.
11.
There are none in the immediate vicinity. If you wanted to walk a little bit, you might be able to find some.
Yeah. Wish Thyra was here. I wish you were all still here. I'm sorry, and thanks again for what you all did. I just wanted to give a moment, and Kev never really got to grieve or anything because he was in my head. So
Yeah.
we just take a moment and then we'll go back.
Yeah, you guys kind of stand there, hearing the birds that have returned, the noises of the frogs in the bog, all those things that make your happy birthday song feel distinctively Keijo have now returned in a force bigger, and you know that even though the events of the attack might have hurt a lot of people, there is some sense of good that came out of it. And you kind of take that in for a moment and think about, what's lost and gained. And stand there with Kev. And then you get up. And you turn around and you walk away. Meeting back up with the group.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do?
Head into the town proper.
Okay. You guys head on into the town. Coming in from the sort of southern western-ish direction. Near enough where the townmaster's hall is. And as you begin walking in and walking up those ramped planks and logs, you see that the town is active. It is the middle of the day. And almost immediately a group of heads turn and say, "Wade, is that you?" And then there's kind of like this ripple of, Wade's back, Wade.
Yeah, and I brought a special someone.
Izzy steps forward and goes, "Hello, everyone.
It's not her.
You're back."
No, it's a little halfling that's been missing for a while.
Yeah, she steps in front of Kev.
Yeah, you see, Kev kind of like takes a moment to hide behind Izzy and then pokes his head around. And as he gets like about 3 inches around, you hear from outside of Portis's restaurant, you hear, "Well, some bitch!" And this kind of faint wheeling of wood on wood as Heath comes around the outside. As you remember, he's missing an arm and a leg, and is now in his own wheelchair. No, sorry. Not
Trini.
Heath. Haymitch.
Sorry, Haymitch. Yeah,
Hey,
sorry.
Yeah, because I...
People!
Yeah.
It's like,
Heath is dead.
holy shit, how did he survive that?
Heath is dead.
No,
He's
Haymitch
gone.
starts wheeling out, followed by the shorter, kind of scraggly brown hair of Flea, that is kind of like, has faint specks of black that just in the hair. And you see him like poke his head around and say, "Kev, when did you get back here? Come here!" And Kev's like, hey, Mitch. It's been a while. I'm gonna just stay here." And he starts like wheeling up real close, and Flea just like runs up and gives him a big hug. He's like, "Okay, that's nice. Yeah. Hi, guys. Sorry about your leg and your arm and everything." And he goes, "It's all right. Don't worry about that. We're making do here. Come on, get some sweet tea. Come on, it's on me." Okay. Wade, are you coming?
Oh boy. Nah, I'm gonna head to Mom and Pa's. You better see yours too. Don't stay too long.
Yeah, I won't. Hope you want to stay with me for a while, or like Yin or Isabel or Birdie.
Lakey's
kinda, like,
already
being
started
dragged off.
walking towards Wade's spawn pause. Lakey's already started heading that direction.
Yeah, you see Bernie just kind of turn to you as about to say, I'm gonna stay with him for just a little bit, you know, make sure he's got that support.
Blake.
You can go with your friends. It's fine.
Blake, make
Yeah.
sure he doesn't go missing again, please.
He ain't going nowhere on my watch, Wade. I'm gonna keep a good eye on him.
You see Kev kind of go, gulp really hard, and he's like, oh god. And Bernie starts walking after them.
I absolutely follow Wade because I want to see his parents' reactions.
Sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you guys wanna head over to Sweet Mars?
Sweet Maz, yeah.
Sure. You head on over there and you see the inside is busy. It's a good day for her. Coming into the doorway, you see old Miss Hestridge is there, Wade, just chilling, eating her standard pie. She's always in here. It's a rare sight to not see her in here unless she's working. And she kind of smiles at you coming in, along with a number of other patrons that are in here. And over on the counter, you see a head pop over the counter, like top, of kind of like this big halfling, you know, a hairdo and big brown eyes, and a giant grin comes over the face and says,
Well, is that my boy coming home to meet? Come on over here, Wade.
Oh shucks. Yeah, he'll go over there and sit on like on the other side of the counter.
Mhm.
Hey, Ma.
What are you doing, sweetie? You hungry? You want something to eat? Here, I'll make you some stew right now.
and she disappears off into the kitchen.
Okay. Thanks. 2 words.
You see the head pop around again.
How many of your friends are here, Wade?
Oh, you think Kit? Oh, you know what? We've got eight total, but Roanoke and our other friend are back at the tree. Kev's here, but
Dave's here?
not here. He's over at Porter's.
Oh, okay. Well, you tell him to get his sweet little self over here, and I would like to see him. You know, make sure he's okay. You know, Kev's like family to us, Wade.
Yeah. And I gotta introduce you to a new friend of mine.
Oh, you're making new. Okay, so it's you and what, the four of your friends plus one, so 6.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 stews coming right up. Everyone, come sit down. Come sit down.
She goes back into the kitchen and she disappears there for about like
Cannot sit still.
5 minutes, and then comes back out full of like bowls and cutlery and things, and throws them down on the counter one by one and says,
Oh, sweetie, did your big half-orc friend, did she return my silverware at any point? Did she have that on her?
Do I have that? I remember there was a deal about this.
If
I
not,
know
it's
that
fine.
we cleaned it up and all that, and if anything, I feel like Thyra was still carrying it, so she
Sarah was
probably-
still carrying it. I think she still has it.
Well,
think-
it was
I
her.
think she
It was
did
in the
have it.
chest, I think, is what it
Unless-
was. So
But then the
We
chest
haven't
was
got
left
the
at the
chest.
tribe, so it's probably there if it's intact.
You know,
was the chest left the tribe? I thought that was.
No, she kicked it over when we were there, didn't she?
I think it burned to the ground. I think it did.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah, it's
we-
gone.
Magic items are typically, resistant to regular stuff, so
It's not very strong.
Yes,
in
but it was
German.
made by a fire genie.
You guys
so-
didn't. You guys definitely didn't pick it up.
Magical
I'll say that.
Correct.
some things have happened, and I don't think the silverware quite made it. We'll
That's such a shame. I love that silverware. That was a gift from your grandmother. Some of that.
Oh, now that makes it a whole lot worse.
No,
But-
it's fine. It's fine, Wade. Don't worry about it.
But
I'll
about-
get some new ones.
We're rich now. We'll just buy you some new silverware. I know counting
Nice.
plates.
Oh no!
An heirloom.
Don't worry. Ain't no one buying nothing for me. I
literally
buy
have
stuff
too
from my
much
way.
money, I don't know what to do with it.
No,
I'm
no, no,
buying
no,
some-
no. I won't take it. I won't take it. You keep it to yourself.
She won't take it easy.
I'm going to send her a box of silverware from Macrovy after all this is over.
You know my big friend actually. Not my friend. Turns out.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, Wade. Did something happen?
She's my sister.
Like, metaphorically? You're like, it's a bond that you guys have forged. Everyone's family now. In your little goats. That's what you're calling yourselves?
Hey.
Aren't you? The goats? Yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
family.
We're
nice.
we're the silvered goats, Ma.
Yes, yeah.
Where's Paul? This actually might be easier
Oh my
if
goodness.
I only have to tell a story once.
Oh, you are in luck, Wade, because he was about to leave today. So, you're just gonna catch him on the end of his stay here.
He probably should stick around just a little bit longer.
True.
Well, you can tell him that yourself.
Yeah,
He's working right now, so I wouldn't disturb him. But he'll, a little bit later, we can.
I will send Wade's dad a message being like, your son's home at the restaurant.
Okay. The response comes back and says, "Well, hell, I'll be right there."
He's on his way, don't worry.
Oh,
Ring
well,
bell. Oh
that's not what I said, but that's fine.
no,
This is an
you'll want to hear
important
this.
conversation. This is an
Yeah.
important conversation. He should be here, and it should be done now.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Is
I
he
love how you
has-
just like
has
throw
main-
random things at people and you don't explain the full story and they're just confused for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, Ma,
is he-
this is my
is
new
he-
friend.
Oh gosh.
I would like to reintroduce to you Hope.
Oh, you changed your name. Oh, it's a pretty name. Well, it's nice to meet you, Hope.
Is
Very
he
nice to meet you.
maintaining hard eye contact with?
God damn it, Izzy.
Oh, I like your brooch, sweetie. It's very nice.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure there's more of a tale to continue with that too, but I guess we're waiting.
Oh, hey, you!
She's
What happened?
slowly sinking into her sweater.
What happened to your armor? I seem to recall we made you something special for your armor, and now it's all gone.
Well, you can blame a very nasty acidic ooze for that one, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. Well, don't worry about it. I'm sure we can get you some new ones.
I just feel so bad because he worked so hard on that and it looked very nice. And then it was decided to say I don't get to have nice things anymore. And
well,
now
it
it's
sounded
gone.
like it did its purpose, which is the main thing, isn't it?
It definitely served its purpose. Yes.
So we'll see if we can't get you out with something else that you can wear, if you want to. He'll be here any minute. So, if there's nothing else I can get for you, where is your half-orc friend, Wade? Sorry, your sister.
She went home to well, first she went and she picked up some other friends of ours. We're building an army. Part of what we're waiting for Pa for. And then she went home.
Well, you have been busy, haven't you? Okay, I'm gonna go get us some drinks, because I think I'll need it. Does anyone want anything special? No?
What is sort of the local favorite cocktail here?
Well, we don't really do cocktails, we do moonshine.
I fucking take moonshine, eh?
I don't suppose by chance you have the stuff to make it old-fashioned, would you? I could make it myself if you have the stuff for it.
Well, we've got some moonshine, and
I think old-fashioned is literally just whiskey and juice.
some moonshine will do. I'll get around. And she sort of disappears back, and you hear the footsteps disappear. And while they're gone, you hear the front door open again, and Pa comes through and sort of looks over at you, and you see his face has sort of aged a little bit since the last time you saw him here. He's probably been dealing with a fair amount of stress himself. And sort of looks over to you guys.
Is a whiskey mixed with bitters, water, and sugar, and also a peeled orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks over to you guys and says, Oh, you're in one piece. That's great news, Wade. Come on, see your pa.
Yeah, I'll give him a big old hug.
So, what brings you back into town?
Actually, we're looking for an ancient artifact. You know, actually, in your travels as a merchant, you ever hear of the Watchers?
You know, I can't say that the name really rings too much of a bell. I don't travel, that far. Just mostly around Casco. Sometimes I shift a little bit into Aegis or Kaseri, but I don't recognize the name too much. And then about this time, Mark comes back with a big old fucking jug with a little small handles of moonshine and just pops it on the table. And a group of, like, small glasses that are halfling sized. Oh, good you're here. Yeah, anyone who wants a glass can get a glass and we'll pour you some. And just starts pouring out moonshine. But no, I ain't never really heard of Watchers or nothing. Why?
Oh boy.
Looking for something belonging to one called Elios. Elios? I don't know how to pronounce it. Eolios.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, kiddo. I ain't never heard of no Eolios or anything like that.
Alright.
Kind of reminds me of that song. E-I-E-I-O.
Oh no.
I
Oh,
knew it was
yeah.
coming.
Da 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 da. Had a gator.
How about we stay on topic, eh?
Right.
Yeah? I know it's
Yeah.
a while coming from me, but
Whew, so, there's a giant, ancient, demigod, planning destruction over the world. And we're gonna kill him.
You see, Pa kind of like, right, I thought we talked about, I'm okay with the adventuring thing, but nothing too much, nothing too far, and now
Yeah.
you're telling me that you're gonna go and fight
we're gonna fight the god.
god. Yeah. I don't know if that's, and you see, Hope, you get this immediately. You see Mark kind of flash him like a really stern look, and he's like, I just want you to be careful, just in case anything bad would happen.
Of course. It just... I don't know. I think we're the only ones that can do this. And just even being back here so briefly, and if there's anywhere in this world worth protecting, it's right here.
Right. Well, it's very nice of you to say that. Yeah. Well, what can we help you with, Wade?
Well, if you don't know where the artifact could be, I think we just wanted to say hi.
Well, that's fine. You can come say hi anytime. And you see Ma say, "Oh, anytime, sweetie. You should say hi more often. We know we worry about you."
Yeah. I met my how do I put this? My other parents recently.
See them kind of like get a little closer, and you see him kind of put his arm around her and grip her kind of tightly as she starts fidgeting around with her fingers. Oh. That's good. That's good, honey.
They don't hold a candle to y'all.
Right.
They don't even know what jambalaya is.
Oh, they don't know what jambalaya is?
No, they should come here and try it, though. It'd be great if y'all met someday.
Oh, yeah. No, anytime. Anytime. They are more than welcome here. Anyone that's friend or family of yours is friend or family of ours. You know that. Were they everything that you wanted them to be?
Honestly, you two have been everything I've ever needed. And more. It's just, it was nice to know. Nice to meet them.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good, honey. I'm happy for you. I am. So, what else have you been up to on your travels?
Oh God, there's
That
so
is
much.
also what he meant by Thyra is his sister. They share a father, biologically.
Oh my word. I could not see the resemblance at all. She's much bigger than you are. Wow.
Right.
Okay. Oh,
But we do share
which
like
side?
the toned muscular structure. So
oh, of course, honey. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
right.
You know, when he was
Absolutely.
hitting that age, 14 or 13, 14, he used to go out to the clearer waters of the bayou, and he would take his shirt off and he would do the poses because he wanted to impress some of the girls down in the town. And it was so cute. You had such big muscles. They're bigger now though, so he's such a heartthrob, as you know. It was funny. Oh, Mrs.
Hard
Hester
eye
used to
contact.
laugh at him about it, but I thought it was sweet.
Just continuous eye contact with Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. I think my searching's over. Anyways, yeah, let's go find Roval.
In other news, sort of my personal news, I found my own father again. He's alive, and so that's
see, Ma, who was very much the talker of the two of them, is kind of like half listening now, and she's looking real close in at Wade. And Pa sort of looks over to her.
Trying to keep them in the same room for a bit to let them source that out.
Yeah, Pa kind of looks over to her, expecting her to reply to you, and says, "Well, that's great. That's great news that you two have found your father.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it, honey?" And she's like, "Yeah, it is."
He's a little unwell currently, trying to keep Wade's listening because Wade is a polite person, so he's not going to leave with some talking.
What?
Well, that's great news.
Yep.
We're gonna get back to work, and we'll have dinner tonight to celebrate everything. Ain't that right? And she's like, we shall be talking about a bunch of stuff tonight. Well, go see Roval, and I'll see you later, Wade.
All right, Mom.
Sounds more like a threat than anything.
Who was it? Was it Asmin? He kind of just, slowly backs out of the room. Okay, bye, sweetie. And yeah, you guys head out of the cafe. Wonderful, great seeing you guys. Fantastic.
As they all leave, both of Wade's parents hear in their head Chaos say, "It was lovely to see you again."
My words. Who said that? As you guys walk out of the cafe, you guys have been in here for a while. Wade, you look over, sort of scanning for Kev, and you actually see him standing outside of the door to his house.
Mm-hmm.
and you just barely catch as the door opens up, Birdie behind him. And you see his father standing in there, opening the door to him. And small bit of dialogue exchanges place, and then he just wraps his arms around him and pulls him in. And Birdie sort of looks back to find you guys, sort of clocks eyes at you guys, and sort of smiles and nods and walks in after him and shuts the door. So you guys are heading over to the
I'm
townhouse?
so concerned right now.
For what, dude?
Wade lets out a big whistle.
What are you trying to get from the whistle?
Where the fuck is Bo? Did you kill my dog off screen? I hate you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a busy day. Nothing happens.
Oh, I hate you so much.
So you guys head on over to Roval's house, which is the townmaster's area here, which is just over a slight bridge from where Mars is. And as you begin walking over, you kind of, before you see him, because there are people around and sort of blocking your area, you kind of hear the faint of his rocking chair.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that he's out there somewhere. You're going to find him. Sort of barging past through the general hubbub. You come onto like his front porch, and you see him there in the rocking chair, which is going back and forth, looking in your general direction, except for the eyes are closed, and you kind of get this faint
Do we wake him
snoring
up?
sound.
Do we leave him there?
I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm freaking out right now.
All right, I'll wake him up.
Where?
I'm assuming, did Hope pick up on him whistling for his dog?
I feel like all of us would have.
Yeah,
to be
all of you would
honest.
pick it up.
Okay. She's gonna waste a message. Because they don't have to understand the language, they still get the gist of the message to say Wade is home, and that's it, and that should be enough for if he's around, for the dog to come searching.
Okay. Okay, so you cast a spell
Uh-huh.
and send the message out.
See if that works.
Someone else take the lead on this.
Izzy will step forward to Roval and sort of put a hand on his shoulder and shake him a little bit.
Okay. You put your hand on his shoulder and begin to shake him a little bit. And within an instant, the gentle snoring just cuts out, and his eyes shoot up, and you hear him say,
I was in the military, I'll kill you!
and he sort of lurches forwards and looks up at you a second.
Accurate.
Oh, it's you.
Hey, as the old kind of looks back at her friends for a second and realizes that no one knew that she lied to him about also being in the military. Like, hey, the old recovered infantry woman.
That's where I recognized the wake-up trick from. It was from the military. You got the experience in that.
Yeah, that's your thing. We have a couple questions about local sort of histories. Also, Wade's back.
Oh, hey, Wade.
Hey, Kev's back too.
Oh, that's good. How you two doing? You still fighting?
Yeah, we're still fighting.
Wait, what?
No, him and Kev. You were fighting
Yeah,
in your...
sorry. Context as a whole.
Oh! No, Kev is here in the flesh.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
No, in his own flesh. Like,
Yeah.
We got him out of Wade's brain and back into his own.
No, I think I understand.
have you
Good.
seen
Yeah.
Bo?
No, I've been asleep.
Oh god, I hate you so much.
Um,
So what was it that you wanted to ask me?
All right.
we're looking
So-
for tales of an old water watcher weapon. Alios or something.
That's a very specific request you're looking for there, young sweetie. I ain't never heard of that.
Do you know
Have you heard of
anyone?
the Watchers at all?
Yeah, I heard of them. Little story that people tell their kids. Yeah. I heard of him. Why? I ain't never heard of no weapon.
Is there any
What?
sort of local
Check.
legends? Oh,
Make an insight check if you want, Wade.
And
Roval's known for many things. Lying is not one of them.
What about tales of a giant gator? Not the ghost gator.
Well,
One
Sweetie,
that was,
you're,
I don't know, perhaps
I don't-
control water.
I don't know how new you are to Keijo, but we have a lot of giant gators here every now and then.
Legendary sized.
6 footers, 8 footers.
No,
the
like
20,
swim around
25
you.
range.
Yes.
no,
huge.
probably like 100 range.
How
Something
big was the
something-
thing swimming around you in your dream, Wade?
How big was the thing swimming around me in my dream? A normal alligator gets to like 30 feet, 20 to 30 feet, right?
No, more like
No.
15
That was-
max.
That was
that's
the
more
ghost gator was about
crocodiles.
25-ish feet.
Yeah.
No, I ain't
Well,
never
I just-
heard of
sorry.
a
I was saying
20.
giant
never
gator.
heard of a 100-foot gator before. Biggest one I ever heard about was the ghost gator.
Any sort of old stories about weird giant things in the swamp? Not even
Well, I was in a couple wars in my time, and
Yeah.
we trekked through swamp an awful lot. You know, on our drills. One time, this buddy of mine, another corporal next to me, he was trekking through the swamp and some got his foot, tied him up all big like, and he was pulled down. And he thought it was a big monster, and it may well have been, but it was a plant monster. Something made of vines. Wanted to eat him. I don't remember how that story ends.
So
Right.
Well, did he make it out?
I'll have to ask him. I don't remember.
I mean, well, if he can
I'd
be
have
asked,
to
then you know
ask.
he made it out.
That would make sense. Yeah, well then he probably made it out.
Any old old ruins nearby, probably like something that seems religious in nature, like probably like an old temple or something like that.
Oh no, only temple here is a church. Wade's familiar with it.
Is the priest
about it.
how long has the priest been around?
25, 30 years.
Is he a local or are they a local?
Oh yeah, born and bred Keijo. Yeah.
Right, you might ask them as well. They might have a little more records. Any weird stories involving giants or giant
I have-
creatures?
I have a very silly question for everyone here.
Sure.
Why didn't we ask Rokanoka to talk with his ancestors that probably have more ideas as to what's going on around here?
Because we're stupid.
Yeah, we're.
I mean,
Delphine is right about us.
maybe he could ask the ghost gator what killed it. Maybe it's the weapon. I don't know. Could be anything in this area.
No, fucking hell. I'm gonna
We
go
could
back to
message
the
him
tree.
to ask. Actually, I'm running low if you have a message.
I'm
that'd
just
be
going
great.
back to the tree. I'm just leaving.
Same.
Okay.
It's like, all right, so
I can
Roval?
locate object, but I don't know what I'm locating, so it doesn't
Roval?
work.
thank you for the help. It's much appreciated. Thank you for the story time. It was very enjoyable.
Well, back if you want to hear some more.
I will keep that in mind for next time. In the meantime, we're going to go about our business because we have a couple more errands to run, and we will catch you later. And Alakian is going to lightly grab onto Wade and Hope's arms and kind of guide them away.
Out of
Yeah.
chance, can she cast locate object for an item of the Watcher? Because it says it can locate the nearest object of a particular kind. If I don't know it specifically. So I'm looking for a Watcher weapon. Other than...
Just pick up what's on
Well, I know
us.
we have the ones near us, but I'm just curious if it would pick up any others. Or if it would only pick up one item.
Locate object. Describe an object that is familiar with you.
And, I could even say it's specifically Elios's. Maybe that'll help. An item of Elios.
Okay.
It's 1,000
Okay.
feet, so I doubt I'll get a hit here, but I'm just curious.
Okay. You go ahead and cast the spell. And you feel your vision gloss over. Make for me an Arcana check.
It's in Wade's butt, isn't it?
14. It's average.
14. Okay. It's enough. It's enough to delineate between what you saw before and what you see now. Which is that looking around immediately in vicinity, you don't find anything that is pinging that would indicate the location of a weapon. And then you look down into the water, and all of the water is kind of shifted in color to where it would indicate perhaps all of it might have something to do with what you're looking for.
She kind of stops being dragged, like, digs her hooves in for a second, and she's like,
Alakian stops as well.
I'm not sure how to explain it, but the water is reacting to my locate object spell.
Are we like,
Equa-
near the edge of like a platform or a bridge?
Yeah, you guys are on the sort of boundary area,
Which wade off into the water.
and looking overwards. And it's weird, like you're looking, it's in the swamp water, but it's also in the mug of water that's on Roval's table. And it's also over there by Portis's restaurant. It's
All
in
the water.
every speck of water.
I push
Equa-
Wade into the water.
Contested
Wade goes in the
athletics.
water.
I rolled a 16.
Sure, go for it.
Bring it.
Okay. Oops. Just
Equal, while they're doing that, can I make any inferences as to what that might mean with her explaining what's going on? Like, my intelligence and arcana knowledge, could I make any inferences as to what might be going on with this?
18.
Of any kind?
You understand what she's told you, and not much. I don't know the specifics of what I've said and what she said. So
Okay.
Good idea, Izzy. Someone give me a straw.
No, it's not. I wanted to see if you reacted, the water would react to. Do some weird stuff. Be like, I summon your power or something like that.
I'm gonna put my face partially underwater and do the bubble blowing thing. And then I'll try and take a big gulp of it. Just
Oh,
Don't
no.
drink the water. Don't drink the
Okay.
swamp.
So first of all, you guys watch as Wade's like waiting there. He's, gently
Wade in the
floating.
water.
And then just puts his head down, and there is this faint bloop, 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 where the hat has stayed above the water and the brim of it just seems to pop up every couple seconds. Wade, as you open your mouth, take a big gulp in, make a constitution saving throw.
okay. I've been drinking Keijo water all my life, baby. That's 22.
A 22?
Yeah.
Shit. Amidst the fish piss and algae and bits of detritus and debris that is in this swamp water that you instantly taste. You keep it down, and you wish you had taken a smaller gulp.
I think it's doing something. Might be working.
Nothing
I
happens.
still think we should go see Rokanoka.
Yeah, it's worth a try though. I say I summon
Go
your
on.
power, Elos.
Elos, the mightiest of all. I am your champion. Let this swampy water fill my veins with your might.
You see a couple of people on the bridge just turn over. What you doing there, Wade?
Communing with God.
You look a little weird.
I put a hand out to help Wade back up onto the bridge.
Okay. oh, my tummy. Yeah, don't think it was that.
Wait, did you try to drink the swamp water?
Yeah, I mean, didn't think it would hurt to try. Drank it plenty before.
Please drink some regular water too now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come on, let's go.
Oh!
Water itself.
I'm
Worth a
stopping
try.
at my parents' house. I'm sorry.
Okay. You... so you guys begin to make your way out, and then Wade just dips straight going to his parents' house.
Wait up!
As you walk over to the house, you get to see the outside of it, where looking over to it, and you see Bo at the door pawing at it really hard.
Oh, shit.
If you remember, Hope, you said Wade's home,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to get into the house.
Fair enough.
Oh, thank God. Bo! I just
See the
started
head
yelling
just
to him.
whoa, turn, and there's a moment of him discerning who you are before he comes all the way up to you and just jumps up and
Yeah, just
make a strength saving throw for me.
grab him. Can I
Uh-oh.
do athletics?
Sure, if you want to.
15, sorry. 15.
Okay, he rolled a natural 2, so there's only one way that you would fail that. He just jumps and you catch him in the midair and you guys spin around as he begins licking your face and drool goes everywhere. It's a beautiful scene between man and dog. And he just won't stop. He just...
You never give me a scare like that again, Bo. You're sticking with me the rest of the day.
Thank you, Nisa.
Oh, and Bo, this is Marcel.
He just looks up at you, not even really acknowledging the monkey, just...
Yeah, I forget he said
And the
it
monkey
too.
kind of peels around behind your head. This is a big dog. And just stays there and maintains heavy eye contact on the dog, and the dog just isn't paying attention. Not at all.
Mhm. Okay, y'all, let's head back to Rokanokus. Just got Bo under my arm.
Are you carrying him as you go?
Yes.
Great, yeah, awesome. You guys make your way back over to Rokanokas. As you get in there, you see Via currently at a side table mixing some stuff. And Rokanoka is sort of on one of the shelves picking off arcane components. And he turns to you and says,
Oh, you are back so soon.
Well, you see, the thing was, we were all very not right, and realized we could have asked you what we came here for in the first place. Do you know any legends of Ilios?
Yeah. question. What do you do when you locate object and makes all the water glow around you?
Lots of questions. Also,
Yeah.
how was your day?
Well, it was going fine.
I'm trying to see his spells. Okay. He's gonna roll. You rolled a 5, which is terrible.
I am not specifically sure about the thing that you are asking about. If it came to a locate object spell, what is the specifics? Yeah.
We were looking for the weapon that's supposed to belong to Wade of the Water Watcher Helios.
And you cast the spell.
And it made all the water glow around Keijo, on the table, the water in the swamp itself. Like, this place.
Well, I would have 2 thoughts about this. The first would be that this weapon is in the water, and you will have to swim through it to find it. Or that the water is the weapon. I don't know how that could be, but you are dealing with divine beings, no?
Do you think attuning to the, I hate to say it, the swamp would make it appear? Like, the crown that I have was just a little drop of light until it became part of me.
Well, I think that you would risk very little by trying.
Wait, get in the water again. You have an hour. Go.
Okay. I'm just gonna go find a... Yeah, I'll just go swimming in it, actually. That works.
Okay, sure. You just come out of the tree, start wading into the water, and you just start floating there. And try and focus your energies into the swamp. Make a nature check for me.
I'm gonna go outside with them too, so that no gators grab them when we're not around.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's hard to focus here. After everything that's happened today, with everything coming, you're having a rough time really getting your mindset back to the way that it was, perhaps when you were younger, and really being attuned to nature. Having a rough go of it, bud.
I don't think it's working. I'm gonna go to Vaya and just be like, you think we could do like a you remember when we first met, you did sort of like a reading on me?
Yeah, I do those sometimes.
Do you think you could, like, I don't know, do like a reading on me and see if you can find out, you know, what I'm supposed to do next, and or where this weapon is, if it's, you know, supposed to be for me? Is it, maybe it's, you know, something you could sense?
You are asking for guidance from your spirits, your guides, your angels, stuff like that. Advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, sweetie. Come sit down.
Great.
And she
Even
beckons
if
you
he's
over
alive, I suppose we could just message him.
she beckons you over to like a side corner of the tree, and she like looks around and looks onto the back of her shell, and she starts trying to grab at something, and she can't, and she ends up spinning like a circle for a second.
Sweetie, would you mind grabbing the disc? The big disc.
Sure. Do y'all mind just a little bit of privacy for this? Just gonna say to the group.
Of course.
Yeah.
Head back outside or wherever.
You pull off the disc Wade, and it's this big, like, thick wooden slab, essentially. And you pull it off, and she turns around and says,
Thank you, sweetie.
and it's like a big collapsible table, and she just sets it down right in front of you. She sort of reaches under the armpit and pulls out a small crystal ball and sits it down on the table. And she begins, like, waving her hands over the ball, and you watch as it begins to fill with its own sort of fog or smoke. And then she begins to start having her eyes sort of cloud over with the same thing. Where the hell did Dyto go?
I wonder if she lost internet or something.
She may have. Yeah, well.
He's not showing online anymore, so possibly.
We'll keep going. And as she sort of looks back to you, Wade, her eyes are sort of cloudy white. The head sort of tilts. And then that fog recedes.
I hate to tell you this, sweetie. I think you're on the right path already.
What path? What do you mean?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Drinking
You'll figure it out.
swamp water?
Who am I to tell you no if that's what you want to do? Keep exploring your options and you'll figure it out. I'm sure.
Okay. Great. The Watcher, when it spoke to me, said I was supposed to lead the final battle. I just don't know if I'm the right choice for that.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, always, Vi.
That first time you came to me, and I gave you that first reading, I left a little nugget of information out that I could have told you, but I didn't want to, because I thought it would scare you off of doing what you were supposed to. When you came to me, and I looked inside this crystal ball, I saw you going on your adventures, finding yourselves, and I said you and your buddy Kev would end up losing each other, was what I said.
Right.
I saw you die, sweetie, at the hands of some evil fey entity that was gonna kill you one way or another, and it was the only way that you were gonna get your friend back. And then you are still here.
Mm-hmm.
You are the only person that I have ever met that has changed the destiny that I ever saw for them. So you should take it as a point of pride. You are capable of subverting the expectations that are set on you by yourself or others. And you can, quite literally, do anything. It's very impressive. I've never met anyone like that before. Don't worry about trying to fill someone else's shoes. You won't. Just be yourself. You'll do it.
Thanks, Vi.
Anytime, sweetie. Now get back in that water and try again.
Yeah, I'll head back outside and, just like with my eyes closed, not paying attention to anyone, just kind of like step into the water.
I mean, you said you're not paying attention, so I push him back into the water and say, "Try again."
Hope was gonna say good luck and give him inspiration.
You can do that. You can take your deal.
I'm gonna give him guidance as he walks out the door.
I give him moral support by pushing him into the water.
As you walk out through the doorway, Wade, of the tree and begin walking down the steps into the water.
I take
Your
off all my
friends give you-
clothes.
Yeah, stripping as you go. Your friends giving you inspiration and guidance, and you get to that final step, and Isabel pushes you, and you plunge under the surface, and you are fully submerged in the swamp water here. Make a nature check with advantage.
Do I also get the D8?
Yeah, you get all that
D8
shit.
and D4.
All right,
For me.
because I'm gonna need it. I kind of have a -1 to nature.
Yes.
Pretty sure it's a D10 at this point for
I
my
roll.
inspiration.
Oh, it is. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
remember.
Okay, so 6 plus
6 with advantage?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
D4. Pull that. So that's an 8. Sorry, 7. Please be a 10. Oh, thank you. With a 10 on the bardic inspiration,
Holy shit.
brings me to
That's a
17.
Only you are the only person, Griz, that I know that can have advantage on a check, plus
Yeah.
inspiration, plus guidance, and still roll below a 20.
Yep.
You're crazy, dude. Yeah. The rest of you watch as Wade plummets into the water. And he's there for 30 seconds, and he hasn't surfaced.
I drowned.
45 seconds, and he hasn't surfaced.
100%.
All right, now I'm starting to get worried.
60 seconds, and he hasn't surfaced.
I'm searching in the water now.
Go ahead and search through the water. Make an investigation check.
Okay. 18. Apparently that's my lucky number tonight.
Nothing.
Wade melted. He's gone.
Nope. This, I hate to say it, probably pretty normal.
I mean,
Because
it's,
Gods work in weird ways.
It's not normal. It's not. We can
All
say
right.
that. It's
All
not
right.
normal. You don't melt.
It's not normal, but
Well, actually,
it's not unexpected. For
we
one
have
of us, at least.
Yeah, we have melted in the past. That is true. So one more time, and it's starting to become a pattern. Once is an event, twice is coincidence, 3 times a pattern.
You guys should just believe in him. How many times have you or we doubted him and he's been right from the beginning?
Oh no, I believe in him. I just also think he's melted.
I think he's fine.
I mean,
I know he's fine.
To be fair, Alakin's melted and he was fine. You can be both. Usually
So-
we can't, but I think we're exceptions to a lot of rules.
You guys continue to wait.
I am going to actually go back inside and seek out Rokanoka again and find
Okay.
him real quick.
Sure, he's
Hope
right there.
will sit and wait.
Okay.
Rokanoka, I have a request that I think you might be able to help with.
Yes.
Do you have some candles and or just basic incense?
We always have
That's what we
candles
bought.
here. Always.
All right. Do you by chance have some just cheapo incense? I don't need anything spectacular, but a little bit.
Yes, I can spare a small amount.
And then do you have some place where I could set up for some privacy for a little while?
We will leave if you request.
If you could, that would be great. I have something I need to do.
Of course. I am interested to see what is happening outside.
It's not much right now, but I have a feeling it will be shortly.
So him and Vaya leave. And you can commence what I think it's starting to do.
Yep.
Which we'll get to
Probably.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
You can make inferences.
Izzy and Hope, you are joined by Rokanuk and Vaya. And you guys sit there and wait. 5 minutes goes by.
I keep throwing rocks at the spot where Wade went under.
10 minutes goes by. 30 minutes goes by.
An amount of rocks. I don't have more rocks.
And you guys keep waiting. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
You are fully submerged underneath. And there is a moment where you sort of are hesitant to the change. You don't want to be under here. There is that fight or flight instinct that kicks in when you are put into moments of danger. And you kind of fight against it for a second and realize this is probably what you're supposed to be doing right now. And you begin to almost surrender to the idea of just, being here under the water. And as you do so, you close your eyes and you begin to focus on what it is that makes this swamp the swamp. What this water means to the area. And not just here. What it means in the rain clouds, and in the lakes, and in the rivers, and in the oceans. What it means to have water in your system. How it gets there. Different kinds, and why it is imperative to the world. And as you do so, you feel, as your hands go outwards, these kind of gentle, forceful streams begin to wrap around your wrists and your hands. You begin to find lines in the liquid that you can feel and sense and touch. You begin to pluck on them. And as you do so, you begin to form something out of it.
Is it a water banjo? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
It is
You have
not a
to.
banjo. It's not a banjo.
Okay.
It is long and cold and metallic. The pointed end. And as you begin to shape the other end of it, your mind instinctively goes to Kev and his spear, and you're like, oh, this has got to be what it is. It's got to be a spear. And you try and make that fine point. And as you do so, something else is now fighting against that and beginning to guide your hand in somewhere else. And instead of 1 point, you find 3. You begin to pull it and get used to it here under the water. And before you know it, it feels like 2 minutes has passed. And you open your eyes and you are holding this weapon. And you are attuned to it. And you think, okay, now's the time. I've got to get back. And you look towards the surface, holding it up. The rest of you standing out there watch as, where Izzy's throwing the rocks and they're hitting in a point. There is a small displacement that comes up, and 1 point, and then 2 more on the side comes up as Wade, holding this beautiful dark blue, silver trident, begins pulling up through the waves. You can go ahead and add Trident of the Water Watcher to your inventory, and you're already attuned to it.
Heck yeah. I have to unattune from something else, though, right?
Yes, you would. That's up to you.
Water Watcher. There it is. Got it. Thank you.
Please tell me
Wait.
there's a feature on it that he can talk to fish.
Weird. When I added that to my inventory, I got -1 AC. Very strange.
What did you want to tune from?
I didn't unattune from anything yet. That's why it was weird.
That is weird.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Figure it out later.
The rest of you watch as he protrudes the water. And he's standing there, not gasping for air, just looking back at you and now holding it.
Welcome back.
Throw a couple more rocks at him.
Thanks.
We're starting to get a little worried there.
How long was I gone? It felt like, 10
I'm
seconds.
assuming an hour since he attuned.
Oh.
Oh, the Equa's gone.
Yeah.
Another rock. Throw it at him.
Ow.
Well, he still feels things.
Yeah, no, I still feel that.
Good. Just testing things out, making sure it all works.
Come on, you should get dried off. We got what we came for now.
Hey, look at that. You got a fancy stick.
As you can see, it's a fork, my friend. A fancy fork.
Even
I believe it's a trident.
Call it trident. Aye.
Oh, Wade.
Forks are for eating, tridents are for stabbing fish.
Man, I could eat a big gator with this.
I mean, you shouldn't. It's for stabbing fish.
I feel like the Water Watcher might find that offensive, using it as a tool for eating.
I mean...
Once again, if he chose you, he should know your personality, and that was definitely an option.
Also, like, the waters are kind of pricks. I haven't been able to take this armor off in a while, and I don't know how. Like, it's annoying as fuck. Like, how do I, like...
Starts prestidigitationing Wade to dry him off.
Did you get it, Griz?
Yeah. I'm just reading through it right now.
Okay, as you look at it as well, there is an inscription for you that reads, "Be fluid like the sea, flow like the rivers, and lead your allies to sure victory." And sure is spelled S-H-O-R-E.
I'm gonna find you in real life, Equa. I'm gonna beat you
I
up
love
for
it. They're all punny. It's fantastical.
I'm sorry, what did it say? It was etched onto it?
Yeah, it's engraved into the handle.
Okay.
I'll send it to you so you have it. I like that one because it sounds like something that Wade would write and misspell on accident.
At will. Okay. Cool.
So, how do you feel?
I feel great.
You have been gone for an hour.
Yeah, I was just informed of that. Uh-huh. Sorry if I gave y'all a scare.
Oh, you did not for me.
I mean, I was pretty sure you melted, so, like...
Yeah, but
trust
Elakian
you, but-
did that before. It was no biggie.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he did do it before, so like, we were less... Honestly, less worried than I think is appropriate if you think a friend melts.
Right.
It's a thing I have to, like, sort of look back on and be like, am I alright with this? Apparently the answer is yes. Throw another rock at him.
Ow.
It hits. It.
I've been throwing rocks at the entire time. Just little pebbles hitting them.
So, this is the weapon at hand. You have them all then.
We have everything we need.
Aye.
Just gathering our friends.
Is that it? Welcome, You want to fight God?
Did you really have to ask me that, Isobel?
No, I did it, but I just feel like it's fun to say, do you want to fight God? It's a
Of
good thing.
course I want to fight a god. Are you
Yes!
kidding me?
That's the woman who helped raise me, of course.
We will be there if you need our assistance. I don't have many members of my tribe yet, but I have a few. I'll see if they can help as well.
If anyone you can think of asking, ask them to head to Urkrovi as soon as they can.
Of course. You know what? We shall take the tree.
To Urkrovi?
Yes. Why wouldn't we?
We've got 2 more days till they arrive, or is it 3 including today?
It moves very fast.
Awesome.
So, go and find your friends. We will begin heading there now. And then... You have the means to teleport yourself, I assume.
Yeah. Thanks
Very
again,
good.
both of you.
Well, don't worry about it, sweetie. I'm just happy that you're happy. We'll see you in a couple days when we go and fight God.
Fuck yeah.
And they begin to head back into the tree. Alakian,
Hi.
you set up your ritual.
Hmm?
Go ahead and explain what you're doing.
So I want to set up the candles kind of in a circle around me, and then have like sticks of incense kind of in between each set of candles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna sit in the middle of it and just sit with the amulet of the plains on my left hand side, and then the actual necklace on the right hand side, right on the floor in front of me, sitting cross-legged and hands on my knees, kind of just focusing on both of those 2 items and the connection to the Raven Queen, and just kind of try and send my consciousness to her inner sanctum, basically. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, you sit down here in the quiet with the sunlight protruding through the top of the tree where the sort of main part of the trunk has been torn off or fallen off or whatever happened here. And you focus on your religion. What do you want to ask of her?
My queen, I know that you cannot spare many people there, but there is one who has helped us before, by the name of Geldrick, and if you could send him to Urkrovi to help us for that final battle, and anyone else that you can spare, it would be greatly appreciated. And I couldn't thank you enough for whatever help you can provide.
Make for me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
$15.
Okay. You regain that familiar sense of her watching over you and your group, and Wade, and Kev, and over how this battle will start to finish. You know that she's going to be watching. and you ask for more. And there is some sense of comfort that comes from the feeling that you get. It's not a response. There are no words. But it is a feeling of her at your back, almost.
Yep. I'll kind of just sit there for as long as I can, just kind of soaking in that feeling that I haven't felt in a long time, and just appreciating that feeling, that familiarity between the two of us, and just kind of stay there for as long as I can.
Yeah. You just sit there in that bliss until you kind of hear this.
Hey, sorry, I don't mean to intrude. We're leaving, and I kind of need you to get out of the tree.
Kind of shakes himself awake a little bit.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I know it was important. We gotta go.
That's fine. I appreciate the time and the supplies, nonetheless. Guess we will see you in a few days then.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you in a couple days over at Rokrovi. Yeah.
Indeed.
Have a good one.
You too. I'll stand up, kind of put out the candles, and then go outside with the others.
Yeah, you go outside and the tree begins to shift away. So, what do you guys want to do from here?
Well, where do we want to go?
Well, I'm pretty sure we've got a dinner date with Wade's parents this evening.
Oh, right, we do, don't we?
Yep.
You also have to still pick up Kevin Bertie.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure Kev's parents would appreciate seeing Wade as well.
For sure. I also want to see Kev's parents' reaction to, the whole situation. It's fun. It's fun for me.
Kev being back, yeah.
Nope, not that. Not that way.
So, you guys start heading back into town. And while you think about where you want to go, we'll do a quick swap over back to Thyra. Thyra, you've shown Karan around. What else would you like to do while you're here for the day?
I said that I was also looking for Brita.
Yes.
So I will leave Karan in the good hands of the cooks so him and his mate can eat. Hopefully not them.
You go over and you talk to the cooks about it, and they're like, I don't know if this should be happening. This is a big ask for us to watch them. And you kind of look over, and Karan is already making his way over to the kind of more raw meats that they have stored, and begins to sniff around them and start pulling some out of the racks that they have.
If he becomes too much of a handful, you can send him to his old room, where their young are.
Right. Yes. How much should he eat?
How much do you have? I mean, at least cut him off so you guys aren't starving.
I'll try and cut off the owlbear from eating.
Here.
Okay.
I'll do this. Alright. Hold on, I think I still have a first level spell. If not, I'll just use it. I'm gonna spend 10 minutes here with the cooks to ritually cast Speak with Animals.
Sure. You take the 10 minutes, and by the time 10 minutes are up, he's kind of munching. Both him and his partner are just munching on this raw hide of what once was probably a deer.
Alright, take what you can grab. We're gonna drop you off at the big tree, and you guys can eat and spend a little bit more time with your eggs before we have to go anywhere.
Here is fine. We will stay.
Just don't eat all all of the food, we've got at least 500 people to feed.
That's it. That's all you get from him.
All right, he said he'll go when they're done.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Can we retrieve the rest of the meat now? And the people start like edging around the owlbear and trying to pull stuff out so he can't get to it. Yeah.
And as we walk out, I want to say to Oda, have you noticed the addition to the world tree yet?
No, I haven't really been back there much, actually. I've been kind of distracted. What is it? What happened?
How do you feel about expanding the family?
Well, it really depends on with what. You know, pets are great. I don't mind pets.
How about half human, half fae creature?
A half human, half fae. Yeah, that. Well, you're not a half fae, so that's sort of takes a relief off of me. I feel like I'm gonna need a little more elaboration on what you're trying to say.
Well, found my dad. Actually, you've met him. Maybe you've seen him at least. And I have a brother.
Oh,
So I
okay.
made a floor for the two of them. And
I
my
didn't-
brother's girlfriend? Life partner? I don't know how that works for humans.
I didn't know that Mom had given birth to any other.
Not mom's. My brother.
Oh, okay.
Dad's side of the family.
I see. Right. Well, can't wait to meet him.
You already have? Blonde-haired boy? Wade?
No.
Yeah,
No, he's not.
he is.
He's
I
so
promise.
small
He is... I think he's even smaller than Dad.
and pale.
Yeah, he gets that from his father.
Okay.
We'll get a little green on him, though.
I think we should. It's doing some good.
I think he's been around the water too much, and it's washed out some of his pigmentation.
Ah, that would make sense. Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, we can definitely fix that. No problem. Well, great. If he wants to stay, sure.
I mean, I'm sure he'll come visit. I don't think he'll necessarily be staying, but
He's not. You're still a matriarch, though, right? He's not gonna, because he's older than you, so not
Oh.
on Mom's side. So he'll be
exactly.
fine. Okay. Cool.
Are
I
you
can't
planning?
wait to tell Kiva.
Yeah. I should have told her, shouldn't I?
There's plenty of time for it.
Are you gonna be coming with us? Or are you gonna stay
yeah.
here?
No, I'll come with. I'd rather be doing something useful, you know.
This is more up your alley. Just sitting slouched in a chair is not a good look for you.
Don't start with that.
I
You know, I'd
mean,
rather be out there.
And I don't blame you. It's a pretty nice place to be, and it is about your time and your turn.
It's I probably shouldn't tell you this. Kiva's actually had to drag me back a couple of times. I've sort of been looking to get out a bit. But it's really not my fault, because Brita started it first.
What did Brita start?
She's been running away a bunch.
Why?
She's been a little fidgety about the time that's been taken to get, you know, this particular quest finished.
Mhm.
And she's really kind of seeking the vengeance over Mom that she wants. She's had a couple of times where she's, you know, decided she was going to go do it herself, but she's not. She doesn't get that far. She's hot-headed, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never dealt with a hot-headed person in my life.
If you give her the opportunity, she'll come with, but, you know, I don't know if you really want to put her on the front lines or anything. It's up to you. You're You're the ruler now.
Oh, I am definitely not going to let her fight the big guy. But it is... She is of age, and it is her right to avenge her mother as much as it is yours.
Yeah.
So if she wants to help fight the Afridi, we can be a united front.
Okay. Everyone but Isolde. She's far too young.
Yes, and I gave her another job. She's actually babysitting the owlbear hatchling eggs. They're not hatchling yet. They're just
I'm
eggs.
sure she loved that.
She did. She started setting up a nest with twigs and pillows and everything.
That's nice.
She definitely got the caretaker parts of everything. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right,
Where did she run off to this time?
probably out to the west. Come on. And she starts leading you over to the
What's to
the
the
western
west?
edge. Where you remember the western side goes into forest. That's sort of in the thick of it. The northern side sort of runs up along the side of the forest, sort of inside a little bit. And then to the east is Linjay, and to the south you get closer towards the border.
Okay.
And she keeps going, and as she goes, she says, "I think she got this route from Cormac, because he dips out a bunch. He doesn't really like to be around in the day too much. Don't get me wrong, he's a good advisor. I don't think he's really been accepted so well by the other elders. A lot of them are sort of set in their ways, and after everything with Kiva and him, you know, they had a big fight. So he's just not."
What did they have a fight about?
Oh, you don't know?
I haven't been here but for 5 minutes twice.
Cormac's her son.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. He didn't really like the revelation, and then he didn't really like the fact that he had to be around her so much when she did the whole, expunging him from the tribe thing, and they're finding their feet a little bit.
It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot. It was unfair to him.
He's good at his job, though. As an elder, he makes good advice. It's a little more brutish than the rest of the tribe, but it's come in handy. It has.
Good.
You'll do well with him.
That's what I'm hoping. That's why I kept him around.
Yeah. She leads you outside of the gates.
I don't like that he's being a bad influence on my little sister, but...
Well, she is of age.
that is true.
And as you guys walk for like an hour and 30 minutes outwards into the forest, make a survival check for me to see if you can track footprints.
27.
27. It's so easy for you. You know exactly what Breeda's footprints are like, because she's prone to doing stupid shit like this, and you've had to track her down before. And within but 30 more minutes of walking, you kind of find her in a little clearing, hacking away at some trees that have kind of been chopped down, with that big, like, opal-ended warhammer that she has. And she's not, like, chopping it through a cut. She's brute force breaking them down in the trunk. She's kind of expunging some of her rage about everything. This is the first time you've really seen her since the tribe burned down, and you can see as you approach, she does kind of have heavier burns on the forearm, on the one side, and sort of up on part of the shoulder, but the top section of the arm is mostly clean. And she's just sort of hacking away, and not really paying attention to you guys as you come in.
They're kind of like... She doesn't clear her voice, but she kind of stands up a little straighter so that she can get more volume. You want to put that brute force somewhere useful than a tree that you're not going to use the wood for?
You kind of jump at the initial voice that she wasn't expecting, and turn around, and her face is kind of drenched in sweat. Her hair is sort of flat back against back of her neck and her shoulders. She's kind of panting there. So you're back, are you?
Well, I was back before, but you didn't seem to care then either.
Well, you weren't here for very long. I wasn't here.
Well, you weren't there.
Did you do it yet?
Why would I do it without you?
You any closer?
Absolutely. Are you ready?
Good. See, I kind of pull the warhammer up and swing it back over the back shoulder. Of course. When?
I pull out my staff and kind of tap it on the ground. I'm not activating it, but I was like, well, first you gotta show me what you got.
You want to do this now?
I mean, you're the one who wasted your energy hacking at a tree.
Whatever. And she sort of begins stretching out and moving the ounce back and forth. And then pulls the warhammer around and holds it there for a second. For the sake of this, are you going to cast magic at all?
I hadn't planned on it.
Great. So,
It's just kind of like a sparring just to get whatever excess energy she didn't get out on the tree out.
awesome. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a contested athletics, acrobatics, and then weapon attack for you both. And we're going to see who wins this. We'll pull up her stat sheet. So, the first thing that we'll do is contested athletics. So go ahead and roll your d20.
Oh, I rolled a nat 1.
Okay, so she's definitely going to beat you with that.
Yeah.
She got a 25. As you both go in and try and grapple each other sort of to the ground a little bit, she actually managed to get the upper hand on you. It's weird. You haven't really sparred with her in a way that she has really gotten the upper hand on you before. And it takes you by surprise just how much effort she's been putting into building her physical strength. And she kind of immediately has the upper hand on you. As you go ahead and try and work your way out of it, roll your acrobatics.
Another nat 1.
You're not going to believe me, but she got a nat 1.
No.
And her modifier is +1. I'm actually
Mine's
gonna,
a +2.
I'm gonna put it in the Discord server because that's kind of fucking lit, honestly.
All right, what's the next
Yeah.
one? I need another nat 1.
So as you begin resting there and you are kind of taken off guard, you instinctively try and right yourself and reverse the polarity of what's going on. And you do so very clumsily. You guys kind of like sprawl around in the dirt and mud there for a second. And the final one we're going to do is a weapon attack.
Okay.
So whatever your weapon modifier attack is, we'll just use that.
$26. Oh man, I was hoping for 3 nat 1s in a row.
Yeah, as you guys throw out and begin to clash with your weapons afterwards, hers is impressive. She made it herself, and it withholds a lot of the force that she's trying to do. It's big and brutish and forceful, and you have to really like take those hits with pride. But you are more combat experienced. You are a better fighter, and you eventually begin to wear her down to the point where you are the victor. Although it comes harder than you thought it would. She is definitely in the works of doing something good here. At the end of it, you kind of just both are standing back and panting and staring at each other with sweat dripping down, caked in mud and leaves and
Home.
yeah. This is nice. It's a nice change of pace.
I'll put my arm around her. Oh, that was fun. Put up a nice, good fight there. Just as I
almost had you
expected.
that time. Next time.
And I was taking it easier on you.
No, you fucking weren't.
I
I
was.
saw you sprawling around down there. You couldn't even get your footing.
Yeah, I didn't use any magic, did I?
You're not supposed to use magic in spar fights.
Some cheaters do.
Well,
Let's get cleaned up. We're gonna eat some food. We're gonna sleep. And we have a big fight ahead of us. Am I right, Oda?
Yeah, by the sounds of it, it's bigger than we think. You guys begin heading back.
I pick
We'll
up some
say-
mud and I throw it at both.
Yeah. Bree doesn't even flinch at the fact. She's half caked in it anyway. She just kind of like takes it and begins considering her options of throwing it back. You hit Otter square in the back of the head, and her silver hair kind of becomes caked, and she turns around and says, "Hey, what did I do?"
You're too clean.
Yeah, I like it that way. And she starts walking a little bit faster ahead of you guys. And yeah, you walk back. We'll say for brevity's sake, you meet back up with everyone, begin to have dinner. Cormac shows up sort of midway through the dinner, along with his brothers. Sees you over there. Good to see you're back.
Thyra will stand up and go to him, arm outstretched. It's good to see you again, friend.
Yeah, you too. How goes the adventuring?
Hopefully coming to an end real soon, and I can be back where I'm supposed to be.
Ah, right. It's good. That's a good thing for you.
But I couldn't finish this up without my right-hand man.
Ugh, who would that be?
I mean, the only other men in this room are behind you, aren't they?
Sort of turns around. You see, like, the big, like, bulky half-orc guy, whose name was Ah, is kind of, like, standing there, belly, like, kind of flopping out, and kind of just standing and looking at you. The rest of the brothers there is like, yeah, they could do too, I suppose.
I was referring to you.
No, I know what you're referring to, don't worry about it. And even now, when you're close to him, you can kind of smell the faint undertones of alcohol on his breath.
Are you ready?
Oh, for a fight? Yeah, I'd say so.
It's gonna be a big fight.
That's fine. We've dealt with life-changing stuff before, haven't we? So
I heard you've been dealing with a lot of that lately.
you know what? I don't even want to fucking talk about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just here to drink and eat, and then
I'm gonna get like really close and whisper. I know everybody's probably gonna hear me because Thyra's not that sneaky. At least your mom isn't working with the bad guy.
you hear a couple of people from the tables around you kind of from in their drinks and kind of spit some food out. So sorry, I didn't know that.
I mean, he also put me in prison.
Sounds like a swell guy. You want me to kill him for you? I'm good at that.
I would prefer you didn't.
You're the boss.
He can be changed. I hear you've been doing good work here. Nice advising.
Oh, I try, but I can only get through so much.
That's okay. Once I'm back, we'll make a difference.
I'll hold you to that.
I mean, if I make it back.
Yeah. To drinking and dying. Then he sort of leans over to someone else's cup that that has like laid there on the table, and he just chugs it and moves back.
Have
Goes
the
straight past you.
owlbears made it back?
Yeah. When you were coming back, you sort of saw the owlbears dragging off a bunch of meat towards the tree, being chased by a couple of chefs who like have like plates and stuff that they're trying to smack them with, but aren't really trying to get too close.
Thyra chuckles. Well, at least I'm not the one causing the chaos. Directly.
So, is there anything else that you want to do tonight, Thyra?
Not specifically. Just spend time with my sisters. Just
Sure. Yeah, you spend the night at the tribe. That evening, Kiva informs you that they have their force ready to go and be teleported. You are looking at about 55 people who are going to come and fight. The rest are needed to stay. The tribe used to be bigger. Unfortunately, now it is not, and they still have to have some people stay behind and maintain order. But all the elders are coming with you. Riley, Oda, and Breeder will come with you, as will Cormac and the brothers. And in the meantime, temporary rule will be shifted to Isolde.
Okay.
You don't know how that's going to go, but you're hopeful for the best. And they will be teleported out the following morning. So, we'll leave you there and we'll catch up after the evening in Keijo.
Sure.
The rest of you guys, you are heading back to Wade's house or Kev's house?
Kev's first. Right?
Okay.
Sure.
You head back to Kev's house. There's no one outside. You can knock on the door if you wish.
Wade knocks. It didn't come through the microphone, but Wade knocks.
Okay. Wade knocks. About a second and a half later, the door opens and Bertie sort of leans through. Oh, good, you're back. Is it okay if they come in? And you hear, is it Wade? Yeah. Oh yeah, let him in. It's fine.
How
Bertie shifts the door open.
uncomfortable does Bertie look right now?
Make an insight check.
Smart choice to make.
That's an 11.
She doesn't look necessarily uncomfortable. She's trying to stay away from the family moment, but it appears that it's probably over by now.
Gotcha.
You guys have been gone for a while, and she's more or less just standing there, sort of minding her own.
Okay.
Don't want to intrude. As you guys walk in, you see Kev sitting there with his ma and pa, and they have like a bunch of food out, including some for Bertie as well. And they're sort of sitting around and probably talking. And you see Kev's parents stand up and sort of look over at you, and Kev's mom says, Wade, it's so good to see you, sweetie. Well, can I get you anything? And your friends too. That's nice. Anything for you guys?
No, we actually just had some at Sweet Ma's.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, your mom's been asking about you, so that's good.
Yeah. Just kind of wanted to check in, make sure everything was going good over here.
You see, Kev's dad gets up and starts walking over to you, Wade, and sort of stands in front of you. Make an insight check, Wade.
Gonna punch me. No, I'm just kidding.
You might.
That is a 19.
19. There's a lot of emotion behind that face right now. You see as he just holds his hand out for you to shake it.
Yeah, I'll shake his hand.
And he grips it really hard in both hands. Did a hell of a job, Wade. I'm so thankful for you. We all are. You've done a real service for us.
Don't thank me too much. One, I had a lot of help, including from Kev. And two, it's partially my fault to begin with, so just cleaning up my mess.
No, we don't. It ain't no one's fault, but that creature that was in the swamp, and we are just so glad to have our boy back. And thank you to all of you. We are so grateful to each and every one of you for your assistance in this matter. It means just the world to us that you've done so, and we cannot thank you enough for everything.
We're glad he's back.
We are too. He's been telling us all sorts about your mission and what you have to do. Did you find your weapon there, son?
I did. Do we think that like pulling out the weapon is like counts as using it? 'Cause I know you
I
can
am
summon
wearing my armor.
it. Okay, so I'll summon
Izzy's
it to
wearing
my
hers.
hand.
I'm wearing mine. Yeah.
Across the continent, Thyra just sparred with hers.
Yeah. Let me just double check your thingy here, Wade, because you just summoned it. I just have to double check the wording on that specific thing.
Oh, it's a summoning thing. It's not just a he can carry it around thing. Oh no.
Yes, yeah. It doesn't disappear. It's always there, but if you chuck it, you can bring it back. It's like Thyra's axe.
Yeah, well, it was like on my back or something, and I just summoned it to my hand because I'm lazy.
Sure, it just comes through. And you see Kev sort of stand up and walk up to you and take a look at it.
Shut up.
It's got more points than mine.
Okay, yeah, it does. Yep.
I don't feel like
Just
that
means you know how to
really-
use yours better, Kev.
Well, no, it ain't no innuendo or nothing, like Ian. It's just, I just feel like I don't even worry about it. It's fine. I wasn't worried. Why? Yeah, you didn't have to make it weird or nothing. He sort of walks back and sits back down gingerly and
What's
kind
going on
of
with
pulls his
Kev?
spear out and just sort of wringing it in his hands, fidgeting.
Kev, it is a very nice spear, and I'm jealous
It
because all
is.
I've got are these boots. As I click my heels.
I want to go home.
There's no place like home.
I have
There's
no
no
one,
place.
so that's fine.
Disappears in a fucking
But
fucking tornado. Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Well,
my-
Lakian's gone.
my weapon may have 3 points, and yours may have 1, but together we have 4, and that's math.
You're right, Wade. That is math. It ain't really useful in no way, but it's math.
Never,
You see his
Wade.
dad. Go ahead.
Hey, Wade.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Never change.
Thank you. You say that a lot.
I mean it more every time I say it.
It's because you're wonderful, and
Yeah, it's pretty good.
there's
What I mean by that is we're gonna be one cohesive fighting force again.
Yeah, we are, I guess. You see his dad sort of step up to you, Wade. If there's anything that we here in Keijo can do, we'll happily oblige. I'll rally up some people and we'll go fight for you if you need it. I know that Kev was talking to Haymitch and Flea, and they would be more than happy to go with you and help out.
They've already sacrificed so much. This whole town has.
No, don't worry about no sacrifice there, Wade. It's for the greater good, and it's for a very important cause. This impacts all of us, even
Yeah,
here.
if we lose, like, they're going. Yeah, fuck it. If we lose, they might just die anyways, because a titan will take over the world and rule it as an iron fist, as a terrible fighter god.
Haymitch is the 3rd best gator hunter in town.
Good for him.
Even now, with his, he's not quite as strong or mobile as he used to be, but he's good with the crossbow. He's adapted real well.
Yeah, we'll probably put Haymitch and the others up with Shawnee, and they can protect her. Good marksman would probably be appreciated.
and in case the thing doesn't break, then they're also there to help it.
Yeah, shoot it across for a bunch of times. See what it does.
I'll gather up some folks and we'll see what we can do. Okay.
Thank you for everything, and we appreciate it.
No, thank you, Wade. We mean it. We do. Where are you going now? Are you going back with your mom and pa?
Yeah, we're gonna have dinner, And then I think we're hitting the road to get ready for this.
Okay, yeah. Please go. You can take care of. I'm sure your mom and pa will be happy to see him. And you know, I'll see you in the morning, Wade, and we'll get some scratch going.
All right.
He sort of grabs your hand and shakes it once more, and then lets you go and turns around. Kev, go on, buddy. You got a place to be. And Kev sort of stands up and, goes over to his mom and hugs his mom. And then hugs his dad and then says, I'm gonna take real good care of this knucklehead in the coming days. So, you don't gotta worry about that. And you see he kind of chuckles a little bit. I'm not worried about it, buddy. I trust you. You both. I do. You're in the right hands. All right.
We'll make sure everyone comes home.
Right.
Bye, Pa. Bye, Ma. And they sort of see him out the door, and you guys leave.
I want to be the last person to kind of step away.
Sure.
As they're ushering everybody away. And I'm gonna kind of extend my hand out towards Kev's dad.
Mm-hmm. He takes it and gives it a shake.
I know it can't be easy letting your son go after you just got him back. But we will take care of him, I promise. We'll bring him back to you.
Son, you ain't got no idea how hard it is. And he sort of pulls his hand away. And you can see even now he himself is withholding a lot of emotion about it because he knows what has to be done. But he's letting it happen.
Thank you nonetheless.
Thank you. Closes the door behind you. Yeah.
I just like as we're kind of walking out, and down one of the, piers, whatever the word is for this thing, docks, whatever the hell. I'm just like, see, that wasn't so bad, was it, Kev?
Well, you weren't even there for it. You don't. I ain't never seen my dad cry like that. It was really hard for me.
Well, how do you feel now?
Honestly, a little bad. Because I don't know how everything's gonna go. I mean, I'm happy that I got to spend some time with them and lift their spirits, but I'll be happy if we make it through.
When we make it through.
Can I
Sure.
offer a little bit of words of encouragement? Sort of at the other end, as sort of someone who's been on your family's side of things, not so much yours.
Sure.
If I could speak to my little brother, or my bigger brother, my older brother, or my mother again, I would do anything. Even if it meant that the next day they were gone forever. I would do anything to have just one moment like that again. So
Yeah.
even if you die, this was worth it for them.
I know. It was necessary, and I'm happy I did it. Scary. Next couple days are gonna be scary.
Yes, they were.
We have each other, and that's what matters.
Whoa, silver goats. Okay.
That is so.
I ruffle his hair.
That reminds me. Oh my god.
Everything
What?
all right in your end?
Follow me. I'm just gonna find a little section, maybe at the restaurant or something, like a booth or something, and sit everybody down. And pull out of my bag crystal ball. I picked this up last time we were in Recrovy. I'm gonna plop it on the table. There's one question that's been plaguing my mind ever since our adventure started. It's time
Did you learn scry?
we find out whatever happened to our little goat friend.
Oh my god, I forgot about him.
I
Poor
assumed that he
Daniel.
was dead. Like, really quickly as well. Like, just straight up dead.
I
Guess
Wait.
we're about to find out.
Did you learn scry while I wasn't paying attention?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I've known it for a while. I just never used it. I didn't have a
Alright.
crystal until Recrovy, so.
All right,
Um,
okay. I'm happier now. All right, continue.
So, let's try this thing out. I'll start casting scrying on one Daniel the goat.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I can't fucking believe it, dude. You hear all the
Dyto
natural
is
one on his wisdom
Dyto's
save.
so sad.
Goats have a +0 to wisdom save, so it's a 1 + 0. Totally fucking fails. You, Wade, are using this crystal ball for the first time in your life. You don't know if it was because Vaya has been talking about it, but you just know exactly what it is that you have to do. And you focus in on the one question that has been racking around your brain for the better part of a year. What happened to that goat that got loose in that werewolf attack in Big Dacky?
Mm-hmm.
And as you focus on the appearance of Daniel, hard as you can, your vision catapults across the continent until it lands somewhere in sandy dunes and rolling like hills of faint orange crystalline sifting material. As the wind blows on top of it, you hone in on the form of a goat sitting there on the top of a dune, tongue lolling out of the side of the face, horns back and one of them chipped off. It appears that it's got scratch marks, like a big puncture wound on the side of the sternum, and it's just staring there, not moving, but alive, just off into space. Nothing is going through its brain.
Does it look like worse or better than it? Like, it hasn't been eating?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
He's still alive. He has to have been eating.
21.
21. This goat is sitting there, front paws down, back paws forwards and sort of hanging off the side and front. Staring off, it looks malnourished, severely
Shit.
dehydrated, but alive.
Looking around, is there a body of water near him at all?
Your perception check? Nope. You get the sense, Wade, because you know animals. This thing has probably been wandering around in the desert for a year by itself. Has been attacked by giant scorpions, giant spiders, other desert-dwelling creatures. Has probably been caught up by, wandering adventurers or merchants, and then released or let go or something. It's probably been through the fucking works, but it's alive. Barely.
I come out of it,
Right.
I
I
assume.
snap in front of him.
You come out of it.
Okay. He's doing great.
Insight
alive.
check.
Everyone make an insight check. Wade, roll deception.
6. I never roll good insights.
7.
That's fucking cocked. That's a 14.
I mean, yeah, I'm lying.
Hope
My
what you get.
passive is so high. I hate clicking on it.
You can't roll lower than a 6 anyway, can you?
No, a 1 still becomes an 11.
Yeah, you're fine.
God
you,
damn.
you and Lakian both get the sense that goat's probably about to fucking die at some point soon.
There's
Like
just
he
like a
doesn't
little
say anything.
tear welling up. He's doing great, guys.
I mean, if you can scry on it, we can always go look for it
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, can we do that? Poor
If he
guy.
survives past the war, we can go
Okay.
looking for the goat, okay?
He's a fighter. He's a fighter.
I give Wade a hug.
Let's get some food.
Yeah.
You guys head on over for the evening to Wade's house, and when you get there, Ma has already set the table. She's been cooking for a while, and you watch as she greets you at the door and says, "Come on in, come on in. Oh, hi, Kip. It's so nice to see you, baby. Come on in. Wade, you sit here, and then Hope, you sit right there next to him, and then Kev, you can sit on the other side, and then you two sit over here." He sort of comes around and sits next to on the one end of the table and passes down on the other end, and she's right next to you, Hope. Next to you, Wade. You guys begin to eat, and she leans real close to you and says, "So, who's this girl you're talking about, Wade?"
What?
I knew it. I knew it from the start. Ever since your big green friend came in and she said that you two were something, I had my suspicions, but I knew it. And I gotta say, honey, I am so happy that he landed someone so pretty as you. You know, it's not that I doubted him or anything, but you know, you are stunning for him. It's beautiful. Your friend mentioned something about kids, and I don't want to push it,
Oh, my lord.
but when you do have them, they will be beautiful.
God damn it.
They're going to have little blonde hairs, little horns.
Oh, no.
It's going to be so nice. You can let them loose in the swamp. We'll take care of them. You can drop them off with me anytime you want.
Oh my god.
Like he is grabbing his
She's,
plate,
like,
standing
just
up and walking
disappearing
away.
into her sweater. Just.
When do you get
Oh, God.
married?
Izzy kind of leans back, takes a sip of moonshine, and goes, "And this is why I wanted to come to catch up. This specific reason." Oh, fantastic.
You look over to your dad, Wade, and he's like, "I'm sorry. I didn't know she was. You know your mother, how she is."
Beautiful.
Lakeheat is outside eating on the porch.
So when are you getting married?
And like, can you hear in your head? If I could join you, I would.
Sorry, bud. On me.
He is now red, no longer pink. Oh no.
So, if there's anything else you guys want to do in the evening, you may do so now. Otherwise, we'll bed
Yes. I want
Okay.
to do one quick thing. Because I talked about this last session and I want to do it now before I forget. I want to send a message to Priscilla Al-Dalib.
down. Okay.
And I just want to say, sorry about last time we met. There were issues getting anything else done that night. How is a couple weeks out sound?
Okay.
That's it.
The response comes back after a little bit of time. And she says, "I remember you. Cut and run. You'd have to impress me pretty bad for me to come out again."
I only had one sitting spell left
Okay.
for today.
So that's it for the night for you.
That is it for the night for me, and I'm gonna be. I know exactly what I wanted to respond with, but like,
Yeah.
Here's the
Yep.
ultimate way to press a girl: kill a god.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, well, you see, in 2 days I'm killing a god, and then I can come see you. So I mean, there's that.
So, does anyone else want to do anything tonight? Okay.
Nope, nothing.
Sure.
I'm
So-
sure she is slowly melting into a puddle of embarrassment.
You guys bed down for the night. Wade and Hope, you guys are presented with the finest bed. Like,
Oh,
it's
my
fluffed
lord.
up, it's ready, it's prepared.
The finest
Um,
marital bed.
Just because I
Yup.
want to know, does Wade's parents do the bundle bag thing? You familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with that.
It's where
Oh,
you
no.
sew the man into a sleeping bag for the night, so he doesn't do anything improprietous.
No. They're
Okay.
they're
I
happy
didn't
for
even
that to
know that's a
happen.
thing.
It's just the only issue is that you guys are presented with Wade's childhood bed, which is a single and smaller. So one of you guys probably had to sleep on the floor, but it doesn't matter. You guys sleep for the night and are woken up to fresh food, breakfast. Yeah, all the like. Is there anything else that you guys want to do in Keijo before you leave?
Wade's dad obviously did not leave yesterday,
No, he did not.
and Moss said she was gonna talk to him about new armor.
Yes.
I'm gonna bother him and ask if he had a chance to or not.
Okay.
before we-
Yeah. He replies to you and says, "Oh no, it'd take me a couple days to finish the engravings and things like that. I can give you a base studded leather if you need it. But to put in all the intricacies, it'll take me a little while."
I've got one right now, but I'll get back with you on that. That I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to make it for you when I can. I can put it on down order now if you want me to, and I'll get to it when you're all done with your world saving.
That would be great.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all I had.
Anyone else?
Okay, I think so.
I guess not.
So, you guys leave the house. You meet back up with Kev at his house because he would sleep at his house. Kev's father has amassed a small group of about 6 people who are willing to go back with you and fight, including Haymitch, Flea, and surprisingly enough, Roval,
Oh goddamn!
who is so eager to get back into it. You see him walking up on his frail little legs, wielding this really thick, heavy crossbow that is kind of too big for him, and he just walks up with it. "I'm ready, let's go!"
Is he wearing a uniform with like a dress uniform with all his medals on it?
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
Beautiful. I love that man.
Okay.
Oh
So you
god, why
can-
am I not surprised?
You can take as many of them as you want to. You can try and ditch Roval if you want to. It's up to you guys.
Poor guy. We gotta give him a chance to relive his
Ye-
glory
We'll just keep him in the
days.
back with Shawnee where no one's gonna end
Yeah,
up.
he can stay with Sean.
Congratulations.
He
Congratulations,
doesn't need to know
infantrymen.
that.
Congratulations, infantrymen of Keijo. You are officially promoted to the position of defending the whole reason we're doing this.
You
I've
have
already been in that position before, so I don't need to get promoted to that again.
you
There'll
have-
be a demotion for me.
You have the most important job in the whole army there, Roval.
Really do.
You do.
Let's just get back first, all right?
It's a good plan. Let's
Right.
go.
Let's do it.
Wade, you begin drawing out the teleportation circle.
No.
Oh no, you're doing the other one?
No. I need to read it really quick. How many people do we have?
So the
16.
4, 5, 6 plus 6.
I think we
Because
might
Wade's
have
car's
too
not
many.
going with you, so it's 12. 12 people total.
Let me see.
Right? Am I thinking about that right?
Well, because how about so there's 4 plus 2, so that's 6, and then
Yeah,
he said you said he had 8 people.
6 people, yes.
Oh, 6
Including
people, so yeah, that'd
Roval.
be 12. Okay, so yeah, then 12.
Never mind then. Yeah, I'm doing the other one. The teleportation circle.
Okay, so teleportation circle can do 10 people at a time.
Oh shit. Either way, we're fucked.
So you will need to do, yeah.
Okay, so what I do
It doesn't
is
say that in the description.
Does it not do up to 10 people, or is it more than 10 people?
It has 6 seconds of opening time. How many people can go through?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's got a
I
whole
can fit in
round.
there pretty easy.
We'll see. Well, it's halflings. Okay,
I will-
I'll allow
I
it,
will
because it's
carry-
mostly halflings.
I will carry 6 halflings. I can do that.
before we do go, I will pet Bo on the head, and I'll also this is gonna be a little too dangerous for me to bring Marcel, my monkey. He's so well behaved. You barely probably even knew he was there. I'm just gonna like put him down. Marcel, I'll be back in a couple of days. Don't destroy nothing, okay?
Make an animal handling check for me, Wade.
Okay. Hey, that's good. 24.
Okay. Yeah, he sort of looks up at you and scampers off and sort of climbs up Mars' back and sort of sits on her shoulder instead. You don't know if it's because he's recognizing the scent or what. He's making himself at home there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you're a little demon monkey. Yeah, okay, I
That's
can work
right.
with him.
Exactly.
Good luck, sweetie. I believe in you.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you."
Okay, now I'll
See
teleport
you
everybody.
again soon.
As you go ahead and draw out the teleportation circle, everyone sits in and you alight it, and as you do, you hear Roble say, "So what's real Crovey like?" Boom! And you all disappeared into the echelon where you are familiar with. And that's where we will leave you guys. So, Thyra, as you wake up in the morning, is there anything else you want to do in the tribe?
No.
Okay.
She's gonna check on the eggs and Isolde real quick. She got.
Yep, you go up to Isolde's room. Isolde has been sitting in there along with Karan's partner, who has been watching the eggs, and they've sort of been sleeping in the same room in relative harmony, but she's in the bed and Pinada is down by the eggs. But she's up, and she's just, watching, sitting on the bed, feet swinging back and forth. "Hey, Thyra, your friends are nice."
I'm glad they didn't try to eat you.
"No, I don't think they would do that. You can kind of tell in their eyes. I think they're good people. Eggs haven't hatched yet, though."
I'm not sure when they'll hatch. They might hatch within the couple of days that we might be gone.
"Okay.
Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, I think so. I'll give him a bath and then feed him, and then we'll sit together, play a couple games, and do our thing."
All right. Don't let them make too much of a mess. And
I
remember,
won't.
while me, Oda, and Brita are gone, you're in charge.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know what my first rule should be. I'm thinking cake for dinner.
That's a good rule to start with.
Yeah, I think we should make that. I know you're gonna probably change it all back when you're back, but I think that should be a permanent solution.
We can talk about it when I come back. Maybe we can
Okay.
do cake for dinner once or twice a month.
I might make it so that the rule is that you can't change it back after it's put in place, because I can do that if I'm the matriarch.
You're the stand-in matriarch.
It's
Which
still
means
kind
I
of a
can-
matriarch.
Change it when I do get back. But if you want to have cake for dinner, I'm not going to stop you from having cake for dinner. Just don't feed it to the owlbears when they hatch. I don't think it's good for their digestive system.
Yeah, I knew that.
Remember, be nice to the people.
She was lying as shit when she said that, by the way. I will. I'll take care of him.
All right.
Good luck.
Come give me a hug before I go.
She gets up and walks over and gives you a hug.
Yeah.
Try to be safe.
I mean, where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll come back. Don't worry.
I know. She'll go with you to see you off, as it were.
Is Panada coming?
Yes, she will come with you. Yeah.
Kind of let her know that we're getting ready to go.
Yeah, she kind of like begrudgingly stands up and starts walking away.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals. I'm on the I have a weird question to ask you. So, my brother was able to make me a couple of earrings out of Koran's feathers. I was wondering if while we've been here, you've molted a little bit.
I haven't been aware of it. I could check.
Could
Sort
you?
of looks around. No.
Right, well, if you do, if I could have a couple.
They tend to fall off in battle, so
I'll keep an eye out. But hopefully you guys won't be seeing too much of the fight. You have little ones to come back to.
right. She'll follow you down. Kivo has gathered as many people as she can and says,
So, I'm not going to be able to get them all through today. But by tomorrow, they'll all be there. I'm going to send through the most important ones first, and we'll get to the rest later.
I point to Delphine. She can take quite a few as well.
Oh, good. Right, we'll get as many through as we can then. Well, I suppose I'll see you over there.
Oh, and, by the way, Wade is my brother.
I'm sorry, dear. I already knew.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. You talked to my dad. You knew my dad was my dad.
Yes.
Makes
Well,
sense.
I didn't know that he was specifically that child, but I pieced things together.
See, I knew I didn't have to tell you.
Sweetheart, you rarely do.
Oh, hey, when this is all over, I can do a new cool thing that I'd like to
what's
show you.
that? Something I taught you? Or she begins pulling out the stuff and tapping against the tree.
I can kind of move through trees now. Not long distances, but
Ah,
I
very
can
good.
get
I'm
far
proud of
enough.
you. And she, and the doorway opens and a bunch of people just start moving through.
Yeah, Delphine will make her circle and send through as many as she can. She can do it 3 times.
Perfect. Yeah. So you'll get Kiva can transfer via plants twice in a day. So you'll get most people through. It won't be all people today, but you get most. So
How
Kiva
many
will
are
stay
left?
behind today. About how many did I say we're going? 60-ish?
60 something, yeah.
So you'll have about 20 left over.
Alright. So,
Outside.
after an hour, right? I think is what she can. Yeah. Delphine will take a short rest and use her arcane recovery, cast it again, and then that's when Thyra, Delphine, and the owlbears will go through with whoever else she can get.
Okie dokes. Can you use arcane recovery to recover a 5th slot, or is it anything you can't recover 6th, 7th, or 8th?
It says up to a combined level of 6, but cannot be 6th or higher. So I can recover a 5th level spell slot.
Got you. Awesome. So yeah, she can go ahead and recover that, and you'll get through almost everyone in that day. Kiva will stay behind, and she'll do the rest tomorrow. So you and most everyone can get through on that day. It takes you a little longer than.
Before we start sending a bunch of people through, I would have Delphine send a message to Asmund to just give him a heads up. Hey, we're bringing the tribe.
Okay. Great, noted. I will alert Madeline. You send everyone through. Yeah. So the Keijo crew, you all arrive earliest. Heading back into the echelon, and within about an hour and a half, 2 hours, most of the tribe warriors and Thyra, Oda, Breda, most of the elders, and the 2 owlbears have also come through. So, you guys have essentially a day left here in the city. We're going to do quick, for brevity's sake, because the episode is basically over right now. Is there anything that anyone wants to do in this day? In this 24 hours that you have? We'll start with Hope first.
I had a question for the group. For drawing him to us, do we think if we sent a message in the morning, like, the city is empty, you've already lost the battle, the people and the government is gone, come east, do you think he would come to us? If he thinks Recrovi's abandoned and taking it would be useless?
Are you asking in or out question character? I'm sorry.
That's Hope asking the group.
Okay.
I doubt that it would make any difference, because even if everyone's gone, Recrovi is still a tactical location.
Yeah, I think that would just make it easier for him.
But
it would just mean that he would target the city.
But he wouldn't know that there's people waiting there. I was also gonna say, worst case scenario, he still attacks Recrovi and finds it defended, and he's gonna lose part of his army. But if we are in a different location and have all the items, after saying that, what's our chances of drawing him away without exposing the fact that we have the orb?
That kind of goes into something I've been thinking of. Do we want to, the day of the battle, drop our amulets and reattune to something else so we can be more viable, more ready?
I was assuming so.
Okay.
At that point, we're drawing them to us either way, so...
Now, I was thinking that, I've had a couple of conversations with Kaifin and Zertej. If you were to send a message to Zertej, we could probably draw him out east a little earlier. Just let him know that, I don't know, the orphan's waiting.
I still think
do that.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea to try and take one out early if we could.
So even if Kaimel's in the city with the armies that are there, two of them know where we are. We can at least get those out.
And force him to come once they're beaten. Or they try and flee.
Exactly.
Right. So we're going to give ourselves, like, we'll contact him, like a day early or something, so we have time to rest
I was going to say in the morning, before they hit Recrovi, in case it does work to draw him away. And if he still goes for Recrovi, then at least the people are out. Buildings can be rebuilt. A lot of people coming back is not feasible.
Yeah. For the attacking the Freedy plan, we want to do it a day or two early so that we have time to rest after fighting them.
Well, we have till tomorrow.
Right, Equa, it's tomorrow that he's coming. We don't have today and tomorrow. It's literally tomorrow is when they're going to be here.
Yes. You anticipate that they'll be here tomorrow, but you do not know.
Could draw them out today.
I mean, if you think it could work, even if we start the fight early and we take one out, we'll weaken him tomorrow.
I mean, I would check with Madeline to make sure they're able to get as many people out already. They might still be in the evacuation process.
Yeah, if we were to do this fight, we'd do it out of the city.
I mean, yes, but even if we do that and we try to draw the other two out and we defeat them, Kymel might move up his attack. And if they're trying to still evacuate people, then they don't have their resources to fight back.
The other thing you got to keep in mind is, what if we are underestimating Zirtaj? Like, he could very easily just say, hey, I know where they're at, because he wants to win that badly, and he's not going to fight fair. It's entirely possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it is possible.
Yeah.
I still think we should run this by the ones who are actually have the bigger armies. Like, we're just...
Yeah.
We have a decent army that we've brought ourselves, but...
Yeah, it wouldn't
Let's
hurt to ask.
Okay. So you guys want to run over to Madeline real quick?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Our response will essentially be this. I appreciate your enthusiasm. We're evacuating the final people now, and it's going to take the better part of the day to get the rest of the armies in from the Echelon and the Iron Watch. If you want to do this, do it tonight. I'm not opposed to you, weakening their best defense or their best attack before it happens. Just be really persuasive and wait a little bit of time.
You're sure he would come after you, Thyra?
I'm sure.
Because if we want to try and fool him into coming alone, I can always offer him a trade. Thaya for the information on where you hunt this night to prepare. Maybe he'll think he'll find you alone. If we all have the amulet, he won't be able to sense us around you.
That's true. I was thinking of giving my amulet to Shawnee anyways, since she's got the important piece to the puzzle.
Well, I'll need to get mine back from Kev if that's the plan we're going with then.
Oh, you haven't been using yours?
I mean, I did for all of a day, and then Kev also needed one, so I volunteered mine.
We don't quite know how their sense works, but they probably already know then. If you haven't been using yours and you were worried that they would know, they probably know.
We didn't have one for Kev?
No, you commissioned 5 from me.
Right.
The Delphine smacks Alakian on the head and casts non-detection. And she's just shaking her head.
I forgot you had that. I'm gonna be honest. Go ahead, smack me again. I deserve it. Come on, go ahead.
Isabel smacks him.
Alright.
That was just for fun.
Okay, y'all. We have the all clear. How do we feel about it? Luring them out, taking out one of their higher ranking people before the fight. We'd have to make it personal enough that Ifriti will come along.
I'm pretty sure.
I think he liked to antagonize me a lot, did. No, the Afridi... Okay. He liked to antagonize me a lot when I was in prison. And then Delphine will chime in, and he also was really interested in you at the cakery. All of you.
Then let's find some place away from Brucrovi, and worst case scenario, he doesn't show up. Or I guess best case scenario, he doesn't show up. Worst case scenario, he shows up with Kyphine. But if that's the point, then I think we should also bring Duel with us.
Isn't here yet?
Oh,
He was going to be yesterday.
He's here. He's a sight. Go to a couple rooms down.
Oh,
And she
no.
gives you directions to a couple rooms down. If you guys want to go, you can go.
Yup.
Yes, let's go check on our friend.
You open the door, and it is another scryproof room in the basement, and there is nothing in this room except for a bench on the back wall.
He's a
And
bench.
he is sitting on the bench,
Oh.
looking forward, hands in hands, cracking his knuckles. His hair is wild and loose. His clothes are not that familiar, regal, like mustard-colored wizard robes, but they are tattered and worn and dirtied. And he has this kind of angry look behind the eyes as he sees you come in.
What you said yesterday. Nothing to say.
What we said, yeah. What?
Yeah, I'm a little.
Doesn't matter. When are we doing this?
We have a
Well,
potential plan to strike tonight a key target, the 3D known as, what was the name again, Hope?
Zertish.
Zertash.
Alright, let me know where and when.
We need you to be in there with a level head.
I'm fine.
Insight check. I do
Make an
not
insight check.
believe him. He is angry.
I feel like a Lakey wouldn't even have to insight check. He just knows by looking at the
Of
emotions
course.
because he's
Now
had
I
those
know.
before.
I think Duel feels as Thyra does. Just
Yup.
for different people.
Should have guidance to myself, but that doesn't matter. It's only a 12.
Well, he's angry. Dul traditionally is a very composed person. He's very much like an intelligent, keep it all at bay kind of person. But even you with a 12 get. He's with the betrayal of Kyphine and her robbing him of the monarch, who is kind of like a brother to him, and putting him very much in harm's way. He's losing his edge a little bit here.
I know you're worried about your friend. I understand completely. If anything happens, I promise I'll try and bring him back. But hopefully it won't come to that.
Don't worry about it. I'll kill Kyphine before anything can happen.
Well, maybe that'll be tonight, because we don't know if he'll show up alone. But we have a
Good.
plan.
Then I'll come with.
I assumed you would. We wanted to make sure to extend that invite.
He gets up and he will tag along.
Perhaps we should pick up one more. Asmon can counterspell, right?
I haven't seen her do it.
For some reason, I thought she did it.
I don't believe you've seen her do it.
Let's ask
You
her.
can ask her.
I said we could ask her without any issue.
Okay, you go up to Asmin. I can counterspell.
Okay.
Yep, that's me.
Sweet, great.
How do you
Not
feel?
him.
Because Delphine cannot.
It just wouldn't hurt to have one more, a skilled magician on deck.
She kind of rolls up the scroll that she's been working on for the past couple of days and tucks it away. May as well get in the fight somehow, right?
I'm gonna get Shawnee and get her, squared away for tonight. Somewhere safe, maybe in one of these rooms.
One
With her
more quick
protectors?
thing.
Aye.
Before we do this tonight, we need to keep in mind that we can't use our weapons,
Right.
especially if we think it works the way we think it does. If it works the way we think it does. So we will be fighting at a bit of a disadvantage there, trying to kill minimum Zerotage, possibly Zerotage and Caffeine. Just need to
Well,
keep
I
that in
mean,
mind.
if yours was off and they know where we are anyway, I don't think it really matters, does it?
Let's see if they were listening at that point in time. They might not have been listening intently, and we also don't know exactly how that works. But what we do know is that when we use them, they can tell exactly where we are. So it's happened multiple times.
Aye.
So it's a matter of whether we want to run that risk and guarantee that we kill whoever comes, or if we fight smart and don't use them.
Honestly, I have enough magic to fight without it. It'll just be
Our
very
story.
useful against Kyle.
Here's what I'll say. Maybe we try not to use him if we don't have to, but I think he's moving at this pace because this is probably the fastest he can go. So we
For the
have until
full
tomorrow.
That is true.
He's
if
on
he-
his way here anyway.
Yeah, if he could be here now, I'm sure he would be. So I think if we have to use our weapons, we have the time. If not, if us using the weapons makes him come here faster, he's leaving his army behind and it's just him.
I'm assuming that he's bringing the Monarch's army with him, and she's gonna glance at Duel.
What I would do.
It would make sense to invade with the ground force, and from Gazeri, straight to the east.
Right. Kind of a win-win.
Wait, what kind of things can yours do? I'm assuming it's watery stuff?
Yeah, you know what you can do.
So like, I can feel the sweat bead on your head. I feel it. I'm so attuned with water. I feel the rain. Oh, is that? It's in Okurvik. It's moving east, 50 miles an hour. No, I can just do some cool stuff like make walls of water and stuff.
Oh, you can make a whole fuck ton of water. And I can make lightning that can strike the water.
Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, I like that plan. Oh, that's a great plan.
Please do that.
Yeah, I can make water.
I can make water.
So, this is what we'll do for the sake of running through the day. Since you guys aren't, technically adding anything to your party or whatever, Asmin and Duel will stick with you guys. Shani, Karan, Roval, and a small group of people will sit up in the top of the echelon in Yasik's old office with Yorb, waiting for the signal, which Colborne will give you, which is essentially a bright purple flare. It is this sort of magic item that is kind of like these two long tubes with a cord on the bottom of it, and you pull the cord and the flare shoots up.
Which we shouldn't need tonight, hopefully.
You should not need tonight, hopefully.
Worst case scenario, if we can't find it or whoever goes down, we can message her. I'm sure I'll have a third level. Or message someone near there to get the message to her.
How far out of a walk is it that we're gonna go?
Up
To
you
use
guys.
me as bait? Couple
Can we
miles.
go to that waterfall?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
That waterfall is on the northwest side. You gather they're coming from the
Mm-hmm.
I guess the northeast side. So if you
We
want to
can
take it
just-
away,
say she's hunting an hour to the southeast. We don't have to be very specific. If he wants to find her, he will, especially if she's not wearing that amulet.
And I won't speak.
True.
Do we want to message him and figure out if he's coming?
If I could just get, like, an hour.
Oh, no, not right now. I'm just saying for, like...
Yeah. Because I want to give her the amulet, and I want to attune to the Cloak of Displacement.
Sure, you can do a quick
Yeah.
Scotties. Yeah. If you guys want to unattune to the amulets, you can do so.
Should all of us, you think?
Do it now.
Not right now, right?
Yeah.
You can do it now if you want to. If you don't want to, then you don't have to.
How long does the non-detection last? Because I feel like I might have to have it.
8 hours, I think. Let me just
Okay.
double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 8 hours.
But I'll probably have to get popped with it again before we do this.
8 hours.
So, Hope, are you sending a message to Zataj?
Are we going to go out there first and find our area?
I would recommend it.
It'd be nice if it was near some water.
I mean, Recrovi's surrounded in it. We could follow one of the many streams.
You do that, I.
Okay. Find somewhere like an hour or so along a river to the, I don't know, whatever direction you want.
Sure. It's easy enough for you guys to do. It's Recrovi.
Mm-hmm.
Which way are we going? South? West? North?
Sure. South.
South, okay. Whew, let's hope this works.
I'm gonna pop you with a guidance before.
Thank you.
Who did my sisters come through with us today?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna invite them to come.
Sure. They'll come along.
You think we should have invited Kev?
Kev
I
will come
assumed
with
he
you.
was.
Yeah.
I assume that wasn't really a question.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You guys
I
have a
promised-
large group of people.
Yeah, I promise. My sister.
Okay.
Let the games begin.
Yep. All right, let's go. She's going to message Zartaj and say, I offer you the orphan's location for you to free someone for me later. South of Recrovi, following the river for an hour, you'll find her alone hunting her meal.
Make a deception check.
I don't want to.
Come on, guidance her.
I already did.
You
did.
Okay.
I'm still. Where's my D4? There. 20 on the dot.
Okay. You send out the message, and the response does come back. I like your style, little goat. Don't worry though. I will be there soon.
I don't know if that means he's coming, but he said he'd be there soon. Don't worry. So I don't know if that means tomorrow or later tonight.
I'd say we give it a couple hours, and if he doesn't show, then we head back.
Okay.
You guys.
I mean, this is Delphine, who actually knows things about Afridi. If he's on this plane, or not on this plane, he can plane shift, my friends.
What does that mean?
It means, if he hasn't used it today, wherever he is, he'll be here.
Maybe the
Plane
bait.
shift.
Maybe
Plane
the...
shift. Oops, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Internet for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep, it's great.
You can
Fuck.
You can still use plane shift on the same plane to get from one part of the plane to the other.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if maybe the bait wasn't tasty enough.
Worst case scenario, Thyra can activate her weapon and force him to come.
We could message him and call him a bitch and see if he'd rise to that, insult him. Nah, he already sent one, so it sort of wouldn't work. It would sort of probably get the idea that we ought to...
Yeah.
Trap.
Hey, it's a trap.
So Thyra's gonna go away from everybody to actually make it seem like she is alone
Okay.
and look like she's hunting.
So you guys are gonna wait to see if he pops up.
Yup.
Okay. You wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. An hour goes by. 2 hours go by. And you hope get a message. Get back to the city now.
We gotta go.
We run.
Is Thyra within range of hearing this?
She wasn't that far out. She's probably maybe like 100 feet.
Is there a source
Well-
of water nearby?
Well, thaumaturgy and just
Yeah.
say... Almost thaumaturgy and say, alright, we need to get back now.
There's water everywhere around you guys. You guys are right next to a stream.
Never mind. Okay, yeah, keep going. Keep running. Just too
We
many
You
can
guys-
fast teleport to the echelon if we really need to. Teleportation circle. It would waste a spell, but 2 hours away is like an hour away is still a lot worse.
Mhm. Well,
How many
Duel's also
how many
with us.
people how many people can you do whatever you're trying to do with
8.
Griz? What are you trying to do?
Teleport us all to well, that's 9 if you include me. Teleport us all back to Recrovi.
Oh, you have
Essentially.
that?
Yeah.
You have teleportation?
Yes and no. That's not what it is, but it's essentially the same thing.
How far away are we from the town?
You're an hour out.
You can take how many?
9 total.
How many do we have?
I'll say how many do we have, Equa?
Okay,
Because
so there are
there's
the
us
6
five.
goats, 6 goats, Duel and Asmin, and then the
Kev.
2 sisters. So 6 goats, Duel and Asmin, and the 2 sisters. You got 10,
Yeah.
Delphine?
and Delphine 11.
So 11. So,
Oda,
Yeah.
how good are your wild shapes getting?
Pretty good. Not quite as good as I'm
Can you
not
fly?
transforming into owlbears.
It's about 3.4 miles if you go by average walking speed of a D&D character.
I can fly. Yeah.
All right. Giant eagle. The others to the town as fast as you can.
I'll take Rita. You guys just teleport away. It's fine. We'll get there.
Okay. I'm debating whether I should. I'm just in my head.
Do
I'm
it.
like, do I just use a spell slot and teleport, circle us out? It would take 10 minutes. Because then, what if we need to instantly teleport away from something at the end
You
of the
gotta
campaign?
think about it, Griz.
If
You
this
gotta
is the
think
fight
about it.
starting right now, we don't have a rest. That's my problem.
yeah. So the thing is, I'm assuming because you're asking about water, it's from your weapon. You
Yeah.
only use it once per day.
Yeah.
When else are you
Does
going
it-
to use it?
A question, actually. Does it reset at dawn or after a long rest?
It's. Let me double check what it says.
Long rest.
You may use this feature once per day, is what it says. But...
Okay, so it's not. It's.
Well, what counts as like once per day? Like is at noon Does it shift over? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's a new day.
You will not be able to use it until
24 hours later.
the following morning. We'll say at dawn. It's fine. At dawn is fine.
Okay. So I guess we could technically, as long as the battle's not happening right now. Right?
Let's
Sure.
do it.
Okay, fuck it. I guess we'll use it. Hopefully we don't all die at the end of this campaign.
Hold on. No, I can't. Never mind. I can only. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I can't. Sorry.
Okay, so Wade.
Wait, before we do this and waste valuable resources... Ah, shit. Can we send another message or no? Is that too much valuable resources?
Then you're digging into my valuable resources.
Yeah.
So it's whether I know it's a 3 versus 5 versus your item, but either way, we're gonna have to use a
Something.
spell and an item to get there.
At this point, Duel says, "For fuck's sake," and pulls out a chalk and starts drawing on the ground.
Okay. That's gonna have to do.
So we've spent like 10 minutes arguing about this at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm over here like Equa gave this for a reason because he's gonna explode us
Yep.
all at the end, but I'm gonna be able to teleport us out in the water.
It's up to you, Griz. It's up
That's
to
why
you.
I'm not gonna
But
use it. I'm
Duel-
not gonna use it in us all die at the end.
But then
Dual
we all
cast.
live and you never used it.
Dual
That's
cast
okay.
teleportation circle using his 5th level slot. You all appear in the Tower of the Echelon. Madeline is waiting outside. And she just says to you, "Everyone get to the front wall on the eastern side. It's happening now."
Today is the day.
Here we go.
Here we go.
As you all run through the city, the streets are mostly deserted, and you find your way through with ease. And you get into the city walls and manage to climb your way upwards. And even now, you guys have been here for most of the day, and it's starting to turn to night, and that is, comparative because it's the winter time, so it's an earlier darkness. As you look over towards the horizon, you can see this faint orange glow just appearing and sort of pulsing there. And as you climb up onto the walls of the city border, standing there, all 6 of you goats, Asmin on one side and Duel on the other, you look forwards and you see the impressive, flaming, alight form of a primordial fire titan lumbering over the horizon through the forest, essentially lighting up an area within about a mile of it in fire. The trees are just catching, and there are pillars of black smoke coming from either side of it. Straight above it, you see 3 black dots that are almost impossible to see, that are just floating and coming along with it. And on either side, you see armies upon armies of fire elemental, ice elemental, and one more. Large creatures, humanoid-ish in form, wearing this thick black plate armor, some with shields, some with heavy weapons with thick red beards, that, Isabel, you definitely, and most of you also probably recognize as fire giants, that are also lumbering forwards.
Yay.
And as you look forwards towards this scene, and prepare yourself for the coming war, that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. So, we will catch up here. I know it's goofy. It's alright.
I love it.
I love it.
It looks good.
So
I love
happy.
it. That's awesome.
I love that. That is fucking ridiculous. I love you.
Right, isn't it? Welcome to D&D. We'll catch up back here next Monday. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. Catch our other shows and follow us on the socials. And if we don't see you then, let's keep making stories together. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye bye.